What's up, Mouthfuss? It's your boy Zelman. With
Man, that was a delayed reaction. Like, what? You wanted to just pretend I wasn't here? It's classic Ruby, y'all. Okay. What is good? What's happening? What's popping this lovely Thursday evening? See, I just think that, Zell's a little jealous because Canada Day is on Saturday. See, our independence comes before y'all's. Maybe that's what it is. So it's like a little subterfuge. It's okay, though, Zell. I still love you. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. How y'all doing? How y'all doing over there? Because I know y'all ain't haters like Zell.
listen. I had to make it about me for a minute. Look, BMT does not like your day. He's gonna say something about the Queen.
I'm sorry. Here, I'm gonna teach Americans something. Y'all aren't the only people who get to have an Independence Day. I know it's so hard to believe that your main character syndrome with America does not just apply to the rest of us countries. But no, we all have our own Independence Day. Ours is before y'all's on July 1st because we're better than you. It's better. Anyway, how you doing?
All right, Myron Gaines, we better than you.
I know, right? We are better than you niggas. Okay, no, but for real,
Hey, that is a funny thing. Yeah, but I need that meme. I'm gonna need it.
It is so funny, the whole lapping thing, and that.
I'm doing blessed. We do have July 4th, Tuesday, BMTU cooking. I might show up, you know what I'm saying? Just get that drive out there too. Then I got a family reunion Saturday, so I am busy. And I'm celebrating Saturday too, Ruby. So
yeah, because y'all are trying to poach off of our holiday. It's okay though. It's okay. It's all love. It's all love. We all extended family, but come on now. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. Listen, y'all can be haters all you want on the Monday show when it's your holiday coming up. But for now, it's mine. And y'all can see I am dressed for the occasion in my red and white. Okay, I got my Playboy bunny stuff on. Okay, so we're keeping it all the way 100 over here today. I'm so excited. I love my outfit. And y'all know this is the very first hat I wore in my very first video. I've had this hat for a very long time. So it only comes out for special occasions, y'all. So it's going to be a special show. It's going to be a really good show. I'm super excited about all of our stories today. It's going to be a wild one. It's going to be a wild one.
Some of them are very disturbing. And some of them are absolutely hilarious. I just want y'all to know. Absolutely hilarious. And I know y'all want to get into the juicy stuff. Y'all want to get into all the good stuff. What y'all got for us today? What in the world is happening in this crazy world? And of course, I got to start with Florida. I have to start with Florida. Crazy things happen in Florida. Ruby did a good thing in Florida. I'm like, nah. We can't let that keep over. We can't let that keep going. So we gonna see what happened in Florida. Let's go.
I'll kiss the guys and the beautiful women and everybody. I'll just give you a big fat kiss.
The craziest people in all of America are in the Bronx and all of Florida, and every other day, if not every day, I get proven right about this assessment. Now,
for a long time in my life, I always wondered what would happen if I ever lost a case. How would I feel about my lawyer? How would I think what I would want to do in my head if my lawyer lost me a case? Specifically, if I was an innocent man and my lawyer did such a horrible job that I would be out on the street praying to God that nothing bad happens to him. But this Florida man, of course, Florida is crazy, punches his lawyer. He is sentenced to death for killing child and babysitter. This man is not a good man, but this was interesting. I don't think let's go watch. Shocking video captured by NBC2 shows double murder joke. Ooh, he tried to get him. He tried to knock him out. That's it. Tried to get him, boy. He tried to get him. June 26, St. Louis sentenced to death for the 1990 section of suffocation. For 2 decades, the case Robert Cannell and Cole. For the new DNA. Shout out to the New York Post for this report, by the way. Let's go read it. This man is this look like this. Yo, I ain't gonna say this is like Satan, because Satan is a beautiful angel, manipulate anybody and thinking they're great. This man looks like a demon though. He's like Satan's best demon to scare kids. Like he's the one you put at night. Like you can make a horror movie and this dude can play literally the main villain of the movie. Joseph Zilla, 61, beckoned his lawyer Kevin Shirley over to speak to him after entering the court in handcuffs for a pre-sentencing hearing over the murders of an 11-year-old girl and her babysitter. After leaning to speak into Zilla, he was eventually given the death penalty. Suddenly caught Shirley in the face with a violent elbow shot, sending him spinning. Courtroom video shows an onlooker gassed 3 bailiffs, immediately subdued the tattooed Zilla. Oh, what tattoo had to be in there, but okay. Who was already in restraints, taking him down to the floor before removing him from the courtroom. According to video shown by Fort Myers News Press, the attorney managed to somewhat keep his composure and return to his table. Shirley then assumed the judge he was okay and as a former boxer had sustained heavier blows than the one Zilla had dished out. Zilla of North Florida carries out the 1990 attack by sneaking into a condominium and finding Robin Cornell, 11 years old, and a babysitter, Lisa Story, 32, inside. The child's mother had gone to her boyfriend's home for the night and returned to the Cape Coral apartment the following day to find her daughter and Story dead. The victim had been beaten before suffocated, prosecutors said. The case went cold for more than 2 decades before new DNA evidence tied Zilla to the crime in 2016. He was already in custody for assaulting his stepson when he was charged with double.
What's that?
This man not looking at the NBC, dude. Oh, this thing, Florida. Shout out to that cop from Florida from Monday show.
I used to box. I've taken a lot better shots than that.
There he says I took better shots than that. This is the young lady and the little boy. This is just some interesting news. It's amazing. I just want to also shout out to technology and how amazing it is that years later we can now have the proper technology to get justice for that young man. Oh no, 11-year-old girl. I do apologize. 11-year-old girl and her babysitter. Fortunately, we can. I forgot that 90s look. That little hairstyles and more. Now it's for more little boy, but I do want to make that apology. But yeah, I'm glad we can finally get some justice for these people. I'm happy we can get justice. I'm glad this psychopathic man can go to jail and we can get people like this off the street even years later, even though he was already abusing his stepson apparently. This man is a menace to society, and fortunately we have technology now that can get him off. Hopefully we can free all the black men in jail who were accused of things that they did not do, and we can put people like this man in jail that did. And by the way, black men did a crime too, they need to go to jail too. There's nothing like that. I'm just saying, now we have the ways to get the people who are not supposed to be in jail out of jail, and we can actually retry when we have evidence, versus people like this or anybody else who committed crime. We can hopefully put them in jail. That's what the glory of technology. Let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about this? Have you ever thought about what you would do if your lawyer screwed you in a court case? This man clearly didn't screw, but if you did get screwed, would you react like him? Is that like a fever dream for anybody who ever got accused of a crime? This is going to be the thumbnail, bro. Like, subscribe, all that thing. Hit your notification bell if you want more stories like this. Just hit follow the channel. Live every Monday and Thursday. Remember that. Appreciate y'all. So yeah, Ruby, have you? I came back up, but Ruby, have you ever in your life thought about hitting your lawyer if you lost a crime case?
I like how you said ever in my life, hitting my lawyer, as though I've had so many representing me and my criminal exploits.
I mean, you did admit to arson.
What? Wait, hold on. I admitted to what?
You admitted to arson as a child and all these things. So I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know.
I never burned it. No. What it was just, listen, it was just a little bomb threat, like just a little one though, right? Like there was no bomb or anything. But again, didn't get arrested for it, and didn't have a lawyer. So have I ever thought of hitting my lawyer? Well, no, I've never had my own lawyer per se. Now, to be fair, I have hired lawyers for other people. And since I tend to hire, or they tend to hire rather, like the best of the best, you don't think of hitting your lawyers because your lawyers are getting you off on impossible charges if you get the right kind of good lawyer. So I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, I bet you no one has ever thought ever in their lives to hit Kim. Now she's, I'm just mentioning her name. I'm not going to mention her last name, but Kim is like, she's been in the newspapers, in the Toronto big newspapers and stuff, because she's like legendary. She's legendary for getting people out of jail time for crimes that like are required. You have to get some kind of jail time. Like she's legend. She's legend, right? I bet you no one has ever thought of hitting her ever, right? So it depends. I think a lot of times people forget that, you know, criminals are people too, and you know, those little pieces of disrespect or condescension, they build up over time, or just being, you know, ignored or whatever, they build up over time. That's what I think really happened. Like we're never gonna know that, but that's what I think happened.
Man, he elbowed his lawyer. He couldn't use his arms, so he just made sure he needed him low enough, so he just came out there with the elbow shot. He said he had to get that off. You lost me the case, even though this man is clearly a sick man. The case is from 1990. So, like I said, free all the other black men and all that y'all done put in jail wrongly. Cause we found out we can get a case from 1990 and arrest people for it.
I mean, that is also true, right? I mean, but I think in this case it was literally more of a, sometimes people just sit and they wait patiently, right? And they build up all of that resentment against you for all the disrespect you've given them over time, and they say, just wait, right? If you let me down, just wait, because I got something for you, right? Like that's it. I think, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Especially if you're not a great lawyer, work on your respect. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You'll get hit less. But in the meantime, sometimes if you're an employee, right, it doesn't matter how great of an employee you are or how consistent you've been. And all it takes is one situation for your employer to try to gun you down with an AR. Now, don't take my word for it. Let's listen to the next story.
Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm a sophomore, and this is for all three of you. Can you say in one sentence or less what, you know what I mean? Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
Now, y'all, this one is absolutely wild. And it's one of the many, many reasons why it is that I'm really not pro all of these having millions of guns all over the place and thinking that guns are going to save us all from everything. Because more often than not, well, let's just take a look. Let's just take a look at this story and then you'll see what I mean. Now, before we get the video started, okay, we have to give a shout out for this one. Okay, so shout out and thank you so much, Rosalind, for this. Cheers! I know the brilliance runs in the family. What can I say? Okay, let us take a look at this video because it explains it all. It explains it all.
What kind of gun is it?
Somebody, please.
I don't know.
No, somebody.
Can you shoot anybody?
Stop it.
Hello, ma'am.
A Florida man who fired 30 shots from his AR-15 at his pool cleaner will not face any charges based on the state's Stand Your Ground law.
It's a terrible set of circumstances, but it's unfortunate, avoidable, but it wasn't in this case. It's probably one of those things that I would call lawful but awful. I mean, it's awful, but it's just an awful set of circumstances.
At about 9 p.m. on June 15th, Bradley Hokovar and his wife Yana were watching a movie inside their Dundon home. Detectives with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office say Yana noticed someone in their back lanai that she didn't recognize. She yelled to her husband, saying the man was moving toward their door with a flashlight.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
Hi, our address is 41 Concord Drive, Dunedin. Somebody is just...
Now, I just want to point out for the record, right, that we just covered not that long ago a case of a man, okay, a black man who had people come into his house with firearms to actually injure him. And when he used his right, the exact same law, right? You have the castle doctrine or whatever it is, right? Depending on the state, that in essence says, hey, listen, if you're at risk, you can defend your home with even up to lethal force, right? As long as it's like reasonable or whatever. But now what's insane is even in the call, they're saying, well, I saw a man I didn't know in the backyard. You did know him at 8 p.m. Someone you contracted for services to your house. And then he approached the door with a flashlight, which last time I checked was not a deadly weapon. And yet this is lawful but awful, right? It really shows you how selective the laws are applied, even though it's supposed to cover all. I'm just saying, America is very selective with the way that they apply their laws and with the way that their laws defend and protect certain groups and not others. But let's keep watching.
On our lanai, somebody is around our house.
At the time, Yana didn't know the person on her pool deck was Carl Pollock, the pool cleaner who had been working at their home for nearly a year. Usually, Pollock cleaned the Hokovar's pool in the afternoon, but because he was behind on work, decided to clean at 9 o'clock that evening. Deputies say he did not contact the Hokovars to tell them he would be there that late.
Were they walking around the house?
No, they were trying to break in, but
They were trying to break in.
And I saw them, and we don't know if they are armed or not. We just need somebody to come and check on the house.
As the 911 dispatcher asks Yana about the suspect's appearance, her husband grabs his AR-15 rifle and opens fire.
And how much did he weigh? What was that?
Nothing, don't shoot.
What was that? Ma'am.
My husband. My husband.
What was that bang?
This was a shot.
Who made a shot?
They are going around the house.
Who? I need to know.
They're going around the house?
What that was.
I don't know, somebody's yelling.
When he took that AR out, it wasn't like he was sitting there and he had decided, I'm going to pull this trigger. He was sitting there, he was waiting. And what was the event that caused him to fire was the flashlight. And he thinks the guy's coming in, so he puts one in the chamber and racks it and then fires. Which again cuts to, this wasn't a guy that was sitting there trigger happy wanting to shoot. He was trying to protect himself.
Are y'all seeing what I saw? Because I'm positive that's not what I saw. And I'm positive that's not what I saw. I saw a boy who set up a flashlight so he could see the pool and see what he's doing, because, you know, you got to put a certain balance of chlorine and whatever, and you've got to check the pH strips and the whole nine, right? And otherwise not even approaching the house. What? He's just sitting there at the pool, testing your water. Like, if you were sitting there, right, and observing carefully through your AK scope, right? Because that's necessary. It's necessary for home defense that you have an AK in your house. It's fine. It's assault, AR, assault rifle. That's what AR stands for, right? Totally necessary for defending your home. And so anyway, as you're holding your assault rifle, yeah, no, this makes perfect sense. You're looking through the scope. You're not trigger happy at all. You're not looking for excuse to pull that trigger. We haven't seen countless stories where people are clearly getting shot because someone's looking for an excuse to pull a trigger. Never, no. These people don't want to do that. They just want to defend their home. This is why he was watching carefully. Because if he was watching carefully, you think he might have put two and two together, that here's someone at your pool, servicing your pool, and hey, you have a pool boy. And hey, he's kind of the same height. as the pool boy, with the same hair as the pool boy, and same style of dress as the pool boy. Maybe he's the pool boy. No, nothing. Okay, let's keep watching.
His wife, and he was concerned about the circumstances.
At this point, Pollock ran off, but Bradley Hokovar continued firing.
Of course he did.
I need him to stop shooting the gun.
Okay,
Not trigger happy though. He's cool.
Stop. Stop. Put it down. Put it on the floor, please.
Why?
Let's stay here.
Why? You see?
What kind of gun is it?
Why?
Somebody, please.
I don't know.
No, somebody.
Did he shoot anybody?
Stop it.
Hello, ma'am.
Stop it, Matic.
Not trigger happy
Stop
at
it,
all.
please. Matic, stop it. Stop it, please.
Why? I need him to
Because it's your
stop.
pool boy.
Shooting
Maybe. I don't know.
Here. Where are you? Where is the
I need him to. I need him to put down the gun, ma'am.
I need the police.
Ma'am, I need him to put down the gun.
Bro, I need the
In
police.
all, Bradley fired at least 30 rounds in about 90 seconds. The 911
Bro, these cops are lying for this man. It's literally like, okay, well, he wasn't trigger happy at all. Meanwhile, he's like, why? Why should I have to? Why? No, I'm shooting, man. He had already shot the gun. Right? He wasn't trigger happy. Then they're saying, yo, put down the gun, put down the gun. She's telling you, they're saying you need to put down the gun. He's like, why? And then he lets off 30 shots. Not trigger happy at all. Wasn't looking for an excuse at all. At all. Okay. Like to the point where the woman's just like, yo, I need the police. They're like, yeah, we need you to get him to put down the gun. I need the police. I can't reason with him when he's like this because he's been waiting for an opportunity to shoot somebody and exercise his right to defend his castle. I'm telling you, this is wild.
recording picks up the moments following the shooting.
What happened?
Nothing. I don't know. Yes.
We already opened doors if the deputies are here. One moment, let me.
I'm afraid to go to
Did I hurt somebody? Whoa.
No, you didn't. No, just breathe.
Oh yeah,
Breathe,
totally. Just approaching the house to break in.
breathe.
Wild criminal.
The Pinellas County Sheriff says Bradley Hokovar didn't realize who he was firing at
He didn't
until
care.
after law enforcement
He
arrived.
did not
They
care.
walked out front and saw the pool truck in front of the house. And then he had this, oh my gosh moment. But it wasn't until then. He really had no idea until they walked out
He
front.
didn't try. He didn't
The
try.
sheriff also
He
says
didn't.
Pollock should have warned the Hokovars he would be working so late.
He should have.
When we talked
That's
to
facts. That's facts. Okay, true facts. He should have warned them that he'd be working late. That is 100% facts. However, why is this a reasonable response given that he didn't, right? You have a pool boy. He normally works on Fridays. You haven't seen him yet, or whatever day it was, right? And you haven't seen him yet that day, okay? He looked just like the pool boy. And a simple glance outside of your window, you would have seen the pool truck. Really? And those few shots was not enough. No, you had to let off 30 shots with an assault rifle. But this is reasonable. This is fine. Okay. By the way, for the record, thank God he's a lousy shot, right? Because he didn't hit this kid at all. But the point is, right? Even though he's a lousy shot, he didn't hit the kid at all. That's a problem, isn't it? Is it not a problem that you have a right to defend your home and whatever, and yet you're such a lousy shot and you're so stupid that rather than get an easier to handle gun where it's a little bit easier for you to connect with your target, no, you're going to get an assault rifle where it's a lot harder for you, inexperienced folks to just aim and shoot it and hit your target. And then you're going to have to wildly spray off a whole bunch of bullets to hopefully connect with your target and probably won't. So you're probably going to connect with other things and people. Because you certainly didn't hit your target. Thank God you didn't, because he wasn't actually a criminal. But really? And then you have the police chief or whoever this dude is caping for him? I'm so confused. Okay, let's keep watching. This is ridiculous.
Pool guy, in hindsight, he should have probably let them know that he was coming at 9 o'clock at night. Again, he made no effort to contact them at all.
It was like 20.
Law enforcement say Bradley and Yana will not be charged because no real crime was committed.
This is a classic example of what's called the castle doctrine, or Florida stand your ground law.
Love America.
Bradley Hokovar was in his home. He was in fear that someone was breaking in. The evidence from the video and from his statements, the audio, his wife's statements on the video, and to detectives, that there's no crime that was committed. He was in his home. He was defending what he thought was an intruder coming into his house where he and his wife were. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances.
Officials say Pollock was not shot during the incident, but was injured when he was struck by glass and debris. He was later taken to the hospital and treated for those injuries.
But I mean, y'all listen. Obviously, I'm Canadian, okay? The gun laws here are very different. I feel that the gun laws here and in many other countries, though, definitely illustrate the fact that common sense gun control, and also less lax attitude to gun home ownership and whatnot, definitely there's a definite benefit, because again, the stats all prove that you're more likely to injure a loved one or, you know, an innocent person than you are to injure the criminal. But more often than not, this is exactly what happens. People shoot someone who's like, I hear rustling in my kitchen. You get all hyped up, grab your gun, and you shoot at who? Oh, your kid getting a glass of milk, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. I understand that guns don't kill people. People kill people. But more importantly is it's so much easier for people with a gun to kill people. Because if he had a knife or a bat or something, guess what? He would have had to go outside into the backyard. And long before he swung, he would have known it's the pool boy. Or more importantly, guess what? We could stop lying for the guy, because he could have been looking through that scope and observed long enough to see it was a pool boy. So either he didn't see, because he didn't look, because he got all hyped up and he had his new AR and he just had to use it, or he looked. He saw it was a pool boy and thought, disposable. I'm still justified. But all I know for sure is when we saw a black man on trial, okay? Because a bunch of armed people rode up inside of his house to actually kill him with actual weapons. And when he shot them to defend himself, they called it murder. But there's no crime. It's lawful but awful. Let me know what y'all think. This is crazy.
Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm a sophomore, and this is for all three of you. Can you say in one sentence or less what? You know what I mean. Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
So what do you think, Zell? Because you originally did the story, right, of the black man who literally castle doctrine didn't apply to him, even though the people who came after him were multiple, actually had guns, actually came into his house, actually wanted to kill him, right? So why do you think that in that case, castle doctrine just couldn't apply? But when we have these people who look out their window and see a kid at their pool who doesn't move from the pool, they've hired a pool boy on contract. The pool truck is parked outside of their house. And at no point does the pool boy approach the house. Why is it that stand your ground laws apply? Not just for the first shots that they took, but for the 35 to 40 shots they took after being told very explicitly to not shoot by both his wife and by the police on the phone. Why do you think that at that point it's castle doctrine still? Like, what do you think the difference is, since you're American?
Listen, America is a very strange country, and it's one obvious difference is he wasn't the right skin color. We gotta be honest. He wasn't the right skin tone. He wasn't the right person to call that. even though this situation, the pool boy, I should have called the man. Black people know this. You don't just run nobody out at 1 o'clock because in the hood you instantly start shooting. So
yeah, that's true.
No, I don't know who that is. I'm pretty sure these people aren't in a dangerous area to be shooting. I'm probably gonna put the Kaylin Gillis story that I didn't cover out and put as a premiere this week. Yo, this old white man right now, they own it. They ready to fire no matter white kid, black kid, white girl. You park in my yard, we firing off. I don't know what's going on right now, but they are. We have seen like 6 of them in the last few weeks, and I was like, maybe I'll even make a compilation of just all of them that just start firing off guns. By the way, this is back-to-back Florida stories. Let's go.
Ooh, it's true. It's true. And you know, I think it's scary because I think they're being intentionally manipulated in a way. Like they're trigger happy. I mean, that is for sure. The fact that this cop was outrightly lying about the trigger happiness thing was worrisome to me. But you know, it's very obvious, right? Like, I mean, oh, the wrong person knocks on your door, so you're gonna you're like, oh look, I see black skin, and let's shoot through the door. What? The wrong person opens your car door. It could have been like, oops, sorry, simple accident. It's actually happened to me, right? But no, let's shoot that person, right? Like it's such an overreaction, and it makes me think it's happening so frequently that they must be being trained to do it. And when I say trained, I mean somewhere. We've got to find, I don't know if it's another one of these little Russian websites or something like that, Telegram, something like that, but they're being trained. They're being trained and conditioned. And maybe it's just the Joshua generation rhetoric, and maybe it's Joshua generation people. If you don't know what that is, maybe we need to do an in-depth thing on Joshua generation, but maybe it's that, but I don't know. It's concerning. I'm going to say that. It's very concerning to me.
It is. It's a lot of shooting. BMT saying that America is a great country. He adding it somebody. I don't know who's adding this out to him. Well, I am something messed up on the screen for the next video, so I had to replace it. So that's why I was looking at this other screen rather than this. So that's what that was. BMT is being attacked. He does want Ruby. She likes Ruby with the hat because he said she is a liberal without the hat. So
I'm a liberal with the hat. I'm a progressive, which is decidedly on the left. And later, when we cover our Maga Pride story, it'll definitely for sure prove that I am definitely on the left. You're welcome, DMT.
And our next story is an absolutely insane one. It's actually disturbed me to some parts. I didn't know what to say. BMT is trying to turn me into Stevie Wonder. And for this next story, I had to cover because it is very disturbing. The fact that people like to do this. We already had Ruby go over a story last week of people faking job descriptions to get an advantage in life. And this is just another story like that. So we're going to go over this story. It's very disturbing, so it might be trigger warning for some people. I just want y'all to know. So I want to just say, I don't know what to say, so let's just get to it. Now, coming off Ruby's story of the CPS woman who's pretending that she was going to take on the wellness of the child and take the child away, but the parents didn't, of course, fall for it after she tried to manipulate the child and to come here behind the bushes and stuff, as Ruby stated before. But now we have the WCSI case in which people are pretending to be these officials to get negative things happen. I don't know what to say, consequences, all this other thing. Let's look at the report. Man impersonating ICE agent in Maryland forces woman to perform oral after threatening deportation. A man falsely claiming to be an immigration and customs enforcement officer, a woman, in Maryland after threatening her with deportation and a firearm, according to police. Victor Antonio Reed, 26 years old, faces 11 different charges in connection with the incident, including first and second degree rape, impersonating a law enforcement officer, armed robbery, and theft. He is being held in the Department of Correction. The Prince George's County Police Department SA unit received a report on Tuesday at around 8:15 about a rape that occurred in the 5400 block of St. Barbados Road in Oxon Hill. Reed approached the victim, a Hispanic woman, in the Sunrise Shopping Center parking lot, flashed a bag, and purported to be an ICE agent, the victim told police. He then instructed her to sit in the car or face deportation. The woman sat in the passenger seat of Reed, and he showed a video of ICE agents arresting people. The victim said she was terrified and begged Reed not to deport her, noting that she even offered him money. Reed accepted $100 from the victim, but he told her she would have to perform oral on him to avoid deportation. She initially refused because he directed her attention to a gun in the backseat of the car. She didn't comply with Reed, continued to assault her before allowing her to exit. This is the young man who did this sick act. It's getting rough out here, man. It's getting tiresome. People pretending to be other things to take advantage. Because if y'all really know, y'all know how afraid a person who's an immigrant is. Even if they're legal, just ICE coming in, threatening to can be a fearful thing, right? I don't know if this person is illegal or legal, but it doesn't matter because at the same time, this man, who is not one of those people, took advantage and it was a really negative situation. When the woman even didn't comply with the act just because of he showed her the gun. Why? Because these dudes are freaks. These are deviants. These are really bad people. Like I'm saying, like, we keep talking about how to do better as people. Calling out this crap is how you do it. Calling out these things is how you start trying to fix society. Growing young men, growing young women to do better than what they're supposed to do, or what society tells them to do. Because as Ruby said on our Monday's episode, society tells you wrong is good. We're just trying to survive. It's all about survival. Everything is good. We don't have to be accountable for our actions. I'm disturbed by this. I really am. I don't even want to go over this story too much because it's so sickening to me. And we have had a few sickening stories, but this is up to again, stealing children, doing this. And everybody, like I said earlier, everybody wants to look at some big politician when local people are doing sick, heinous things every day. And we just don't care, or we don't look, we don't pay attention. And some man I saw in the store, they was at the restaurant and the man tried to sneak the girl and turn around and hide her, but the mom caught him. And you just keep seeing these things where people try to kidnap kids. See people manipulate vulnerable people in situations that they can't control, manipulating them, using them to get what you want out of life because you're a loser who can't get any and probably listen to everything and think somebody owe you something because of course the world owe you something, right? You're a black man, you're a black woman, you're a white woman. World owes me this. I'm not a bad person, even though I do heinous things. I'm really a good person. Probably if he does have people that love him and he's not such a sick freak to everybody in the world, yeah, people might actually be like, oh, free my boy Antonio Reed. Free him. He didn't do nothing wrong. When he clearly did. He's a sick freak. Why do we continue to defend this? I don't know. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Back to us. I'm tired of these stories, but you have to report them because nobody else going to. I can worry about some dumb hoop body counters who and something else just to hate. This dude, y'all can hate him. Pray for his family, their family, the family of everybody. The woman, hope she get overcome it. I do appreciate y'all like and subscribe. Ruby, your thoughts on fake ICE agents, fake police, fake CPAC? This is the guy that was faking like the police, like stealing cars. Like everyone just.
Yeah. I mean, but like the fake part of it is not even, I guess, my biggest focus, because the worst part about this is not the fact that someone would use those fake credentials to get the power to then do something this heinous. Like, to me, that's not the issue. The issue is that real CPS agents, real police officers, real people with these badges do this all the time, right? And that's why it's believable that this the fake one is a real one, right? Because like, imagine like if CPS workers or, or ICE agents or, whoever never did anything weird or shady, right? Then no one would believe that they were there doing this. Like, oh, cops would never say I could get out of this arrest if I gave him a blowy. That would never happen, right? Like that's kind of, but unfortunately happens to women all the time, and to women who are like kind of the most vulnerable, it happens the most. And so I think that's the saddest part is, yeah, you know what? We covered this one because, stolen credentials, but guess what? You want to imagine how many are real ICE agents who got serviced for them to go away, not even indefinitely, like to go away for like a week. Like it will be like a week or a month or whatever. And they know they got to pay their dues. And they're almost basically, they're like a mafia or like a gang where you got to pay your dues monthly. They do this and it's terrible. And as soon as you can't pay the dues with money, you got to pay the dues with something else. Oh, your pretty little daughter or whatever. And then if she says, no, that's it. All right, we're deporting all of you. Yeah, we're going to send you back to that country that, you're sure to die in. Yeah, we're going to send you back there. We don't care. Right? Like that, it happens. Sadly, it happens all the time.
If it was that she went with, because some people head, if you have this pristine thing of government officials, be like, oh, that won't happen. They would never do it. Why would she even think they do that? Ruby's right, they do it. That's why they agree to it. So he's like, oh, I don't want to get deported. That's probably why he probably knew it too. And then he probably said something like she like, nah, they ain't never told me this. And he's like, oh, there's a gun back there. Unfortunately, that's what happened.
Right? Just like when I say to people, hey, listen, the biggest crime in the world is disrespecting the police. People are like, come on, Ruby, you're overstating the obvious. You're overstating that. I mean, we all know the cops don't like to be disrespected, or they might lash out a little bit or something, right? But come on, it's not the biggest crime. Oh, really? Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to say that this investigation by the Department of Justice in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, might make you change your mind on that. So let's check out the story. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your J-O-B. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. Y'all never want to believe me when I tell you that the biggest crime in America, the number one crime above any other crime, is disrespecting the police. Y'all know that it's a thing, but y'all don't really think that that's like the crime. No, that's the only crime to the police in America. I am so convinced that they do not actually care about the overlying details of what you actually did wrong, as long as you treat them with respect, right? As soon as you cross that line and you disrespect the police, bro, they on you for it. Now, since y'all don't believe me, I am so glad that this entire investigation that is going on in Arizona right now all revolves around a crime of disrespecting the police. I swear that's what it is. Y'all are not going to believe me. Let's check out this video so we can see the footage directly. Okay.
In your way until you stop. Don't. Okay. Well, this arrest didn't make the news. No deaths,
What'd I say?
no shots.
What'd I say?
So while a case like this flies under the radar, it's also the kind of arrest that can grab the attention of federal investigators. Remember, right now in Phoenix police are under a top-to-bottom Department of Justice investigation.
And ABC 15 Chief Investigator Dave Biscabing found that recent DOJ probes in other cities focused on arrestees, just like the one you're about to see.
We're across the street from where it happened. Mm-hmm. When did it happen?
So it happened August 2nd of 2022.
This is Kenny Ronald McDonald, and we're across the street from PLEA, the Phoenix Law Enforcement Association. The police...
Bro, stop it. First of all, for those of y'all who do not know yet, because you're brand new to the Ruby show, okay? Ruby's birthday is August 2nd, okay? Amazing coincidence, first of all. Second of all... Bro, a clown show is right. Did this dude just really say his name was Ronald McDonald? Like, did he get to like pick his like Jane Doe name? Like, cause his name is Ronald McDonald. If your parents intentionally gave you the name Ronald McDonald, they ain't ish, sir. I hope that this is an alias, first of all. Second of all, if it's not an alias, I want right here, right now, I want it to be known that it isn't just black folk who name their kids some ridiculous ass stuff sometimes. Okay, that's all I want. That's all I want. Okay, let's keep watching. I lied. We have to go back and we have to go back and just hear that one more time.
What happened August 2nd of 2022?
This is Kenny Ronald McDonald, and we're across the street from
Kenny Ronald McDonald. Y'all ain't ish. You're not. You're not. I'm sorry. I can't. And I'm not talking to Kenny, and I'm not talking to, if his name is really Kenny Ronald McDonald, right? I'm talking to the people who knew that their last name was McDonald and decided that they had to get Ronald up in there somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with y'all? Okay, let's keep watching.
Plea, the Phoenix Law Enforcement Association, the police union. It's not the wisest place to do what Kenny did. While an officer was parked in the Plea parking lot, he rode by and insulted the officer. Now, the audio doesn't begin until this point.
Have a good day.
Another officer shows up.
You know we could go code 6 and for right and left to center. We could.
They claim Kenny continued to insult them from the sidewalk. After 10 minutes, the second officer pulls out of the parking lot. You can see Kenny ride up, knock on the window.
But y'all heard that, right? Because that officer is like, the one officer, we could code 6 him for riding left or center. And the other officer is like, no, we could, right? Like, you can see, like, this is like the foot in the door, right? It's like a marketing tactic where you start off with like the suggestion, just joking, but not really, but let's see what you think. And then, you try to escalate it from there. This is how the good old boys type clubs form, right? It's not that all of them started with the same negative intention. It's just simply that one of them has a negative intention and, misery loves company and people want co-conspirators so they're not alone in their ridiculousness. And so that's how you get exactly this kind of situation. Let's keep watching.
Can you help me out with something? What do you need? There's a bunch of people that need help over. You guys help people, right? What do you need? Do you help people? I'm asking.
Kenny is referring to the so-called zone, just a few blocks south. The two then go back and forth for the next 25 seconds.
Yeah, getting in my way. It's called obstructing police operation. Oh, yeah? I'm going to a call right now. So, if you don't need anything... I wasn't in your way until you stopped. Okay.
The officers finished cuffing Kenny and put him into the patrol car.
I called him a dumb, and it's very clear that sent him over the edge. And he arrested me.
Now, a lot more happens after this, and we'll get to that soon. But first, we need to talk about Phoenix.
Of course you can imagine, because this is the state of policing in America, right? Where literally, even though it's gone to the highest courts over and over and over again, right? And calling the police names is protected speech, okay? That is freedom of speech. Calling police all kinds of insulting names is freedom of speech. It's protected speech because you're speaking out against the institution of policing, right? So while you can't, say threats, against their lives, you can call them idiots and dumbass and whatever and bitch and whatever swear words you want at the police. You're allowed to do that. It's protected speech. It's been found to be protected speech in the highest courts. So the fact that despite that again and again and again, still to this day, that police are still making these egregious arrests over being disrespected because they didn't like it, plotting as we saw in the video earlier. Biggest crime in the world, I'm telling you. They said they had a call, right? Oh, you have a call to go to? But instead of going to stop a real crime, this is what you want to do instead? This is what you have time for? Why? Because being disrespected was bigger than whatever robbery or murder or whatever it is that you had the call for. Let's be real. That's how a large segment of the good old boys policing department thinks.
DOJ investigation. It began 22 months ago, and as a reminder, it focused on 5 main areas, including excessive force and retaliating against protesters. Now, since it began, the DOJ's finalized investigations against 2 other departments, Louisville Metro PD in March and Minneapolis just last week. And the findings in those 2 cities stand out. Quote, LMPD violates the rights of people engaged in protected speech, critical of policing. And criticism of officers, even with profanity, is protected speech. Nevertheless, MPD officers routinely respond to protected speech with arrests and with force.
What did I say?
Our reporting has exposed major scandals, maybe none bigger than Phoenix inventing a fake gang to charge this group as members. But the DOJ reports in the other cities not only focus on the high-profile cases, but on lesser-known arrests too. One example, an officer put a team in a neck restraint after he yelled, "F the police." So that takes us back to Kenny's arrest. After he's placed into the police SUV, several more officers show up and they bring a digital fingerprint scanner.
Turn away from me. What? Turn away from me. Why? I'm going to take your fingerprint. I'm not going to give you my fingerprints, man. It's not up to you. I know, but I'm just not going to. Well, it's not up to you. Okay, I know. All right, we'll pull you out and we'll force you then. I mean, I'll get out. Okay, we're going to force you. I mean, force me all you want. I was trying to be nice.
Let's stop there. Here are Phoenix PD's policies. In the booking section, under suspect refusing fingerprints, it says physical force will not be used to obtain fingerprints. The officers start pulling on his fingers. He keeps his hands clenched, so officers take him to the ground and pile on, some kneeling on his back, some trying to pry his fingers open, this one pushing his head, face, and jaw into the ground on a 104-degree day. In their use of force review of the incident, Phoenix supervisors justified the force, claimed the reason for using force was for assaulting officers, and they didn't address whether or not it was appropriate to use force to get fingerprints. Officers had Kenny on the ground for more than 3 minutes after they took pictures of his face. Now, here are more findings from the DOJ on Minneapolis. Quote, MPD uses unnecessary force, including for failure to comply with orders immediately. MPD's inadequate force review system contributes to its use of excessive force. The lack of proper force review is dangerous. Kenny was initially booked on charges of obstructing government operations, criminal trespass, and aggravated assault.
What did they say was your assault of them? There's a couple parts where I think where they're saying that I did it. And you just see my finger moving over and touching his hand.
What you guys do? This is what you guys do. Are you a new one?
It is what they do.
I'm brand new. He's brand new. He's like a...
Real talk is what they do. Obstructing what government operation? Fake nothingness you were doing before you got a call that you still didn't have time to go to, and apparently none of this large group of cops had time to go to. Y'all have to think about what went down here and what they charged him with, and remember that literally there was no even suspected crime in progress. There was not even a farce of a suspected crime in progress here, right? Because they've gotten so comfortable. They've gotten so comfortable with disenfranchising our demographic. Okay, let's be real. If you are poor, if you are Black, if you are non-white, if you are middle class or below, they've gotten so used to being able to disenfranchise, right, our demographic that they don't even feel like they need the farce anymore. They don't even need the farce of a valid stop. I mean, Buddy came up with something driving to the left on a bike or whatever it was, or left of the line on a bike. He like pulled that out of thin air because they know what those out of thin air crimes are, right? Because they've been using them against our demographic for a very long time. And so once they do that, then great, now they're golden. Now they think they can justify everything. And the truth is most people don't have enough time or money to fight back, to do what needs to be done, to challenge this, to make sure the eyes actually see the body cam footage and to really get all of the details, right? So a lot of these things get shut down. But guess what? I'm guessing this guy had time. And now Phoenix has a whole Department of Justice investigation where they found case after case after case of this. Shocking, right? Let's keep watching.
A week on. We're trying to straighten them out, though.
I'm investigator Dave Biscobing, ABC 15, Arizona.
So in response to the report, Phoenix police released the following statement. This incident was recently brought to the attention of those at the highest level of our department. As a result, an investigation has been initiated. A spokesperson confirmed that investigation started yesterday. And when we reached out for comment, you're also probably asking what happened with this case. Well, the charges were finally dropped.
Shocking.
After 10 months on the morning of the trial. That's a whole other story, so you don't want to miss Dave's next report coming up on Monday.
On the morning of the trial. No, see, this is the thing, right? They were trying to get him, in essence, to probably drop his counterclaims and whatever. And so they were trying to play chicken. But they knew that they didn't really have a case, and they actually knew it would be worse for them to go ahead with the trial, but they probably held on to the last possible moment. We'll look into that, right? We'll do an update on that to see, well, what reason did they get for dropping those charges right in the morning of the start of the trial? But I'm guessing that that's really what it is. But what do y'all think about this whole situation? And what do you think that this investigation from the Department of Justice is really going to conclude? Will it bring any positive change? Are we moving in the right direction finally for this to be called out in this one way? Let me know what you think.
You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your J-O-B. You about to lose your job. Get this thing. You about to lose your job. Get this thing.
See, so now y'all have seen it in black and white, painted out, right? They invent a crime that you committed after you've disrespected them. And they will go very far to invent that crime, to invent that reason and whatever. And they will dig in. They'll double down, right? Trying to shame or guilt or, really bankrupt you out of fighting against them, right? To prove yourself. And a lot of people, unfortunately, are either scared or don't have the funds, don't have the availability, right? So they end up giving in and they take lesser charges and stuff, even though they never did anything wrong. All they did was tell the cop that he was a douchebag because he was, a douchebag. What do you think about this story, Zal?
Listen, most people don't know their rights. First off, you can't just randomly arrest somebody. You can't force them into a police car. All that is, by the way, illegal. But the cops know. Most people don't know that, so they take advantage of it. They will abuse it. You have people that's antagonizing the police and know their laws and throw it at the police. But half the time, let's be honest, these police aren't trained, so they don't even know the laws. So they will just make it like, yeah, we can do that. Like, that's why they get an investigation by DOJ, because no, you can't. You can't harass people. You can't take fingerprints by force. But they will. But I did know that little charge of, he assaulted me because he accidentally touched me. That's how they try to get you. They knew it wasn't gonna fly in court.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how they try to get you. They always try to get some weird thing. Oh, he assaulted me. He touched me accidentally, even though I'm the one who pulled him toward me. In a way, he's assaulting my police. He's disturbing it. He's objectively like stopping our case that we were going to. I'm like, well, it must have been important because like one police harassed him and then like 14 police just came around just to look at it. Like, so I guess y'all wasn't busy that day. I guess the crime y'all got called in for didn't matter, as Ruby said.
Yeah. Obviously didn't. But no, I want to be clear about something because a lot of people don't know this and you see them make the mistake on auditing channels. So you're right about the whole arrest warrant thing, except for when they suspect that you're in the commission of a crime currently or that you've just committed a crime. They are actually allowed to arrest you. But even if you don't think they have any legal reason, you resisting the arrest makes you at fault. And this is determined by the American Supreme Court. This is not me saying it. The American Supreme Court said that if the officers are acting in good faith, that they are following the law, even if they're not, and you decided to resist that, you're gonna be at fault, and that will be upheld, right? You're supposed to listen to lawful commands, and if they're going to make commands that are not lawful, unfortunately you still have to listen. You can go back and fight it retroactively in court, but in the moment you're supposed to listen, and so you're supposed to voice that you're not complying, like as in you disagree, and that you think that this is unlawful, but you'll comply to blah blah blah. But you're supposed to voice every step along the way that this is unlawful, but you actually have to comply. And if you don't comply, and then they say that you're resisting arrest, as insane as that is, that's been upheld by the Supreme Court. So I just wanted to say, because see, auditors get away with, because they're a slightly lighter persuasion, and they get away with all kinds of stuff that normal people would not. But it goes to show you, like, yeah, it is actually better for you to comply in a moment, even with something that you know is unlawful, and then fight it in court later, and then sue the city, get your money. You know what I mean?
Get your money, shout out to We got another story, and I want audience participation in this, because I do present a question, y'all. I am very curious to how y'all feel about this. So, have you, Ruby, do you like true crime stories? Anything like that?
Yeah, well, yeah, generally.
Let's watch.
Okay.
Listen to all my true crime people, all the people that like to study crime and do all the other stuff. Have you ever been curious how it would be to end someone? You ever just thought about, like, what would I do in this situation? What would I do if I was set up in this situation? What would I think about? How would I feel? Would I be in that situation? Could I even do it? Have you ever wondered that? Because I probably did when I was younger one time, just to be curious, and I was like, I'm not a murderer. That's insane. But in this case, shout out to the Korean Now, the news, Yonhap is funded by the whole in part by the Korean government. Just want y'all to know what this is and everything. 20-something woman commits murder out of curiosity. Now, my curiosity, even at that age, or any curious on how I would react or do if I was put in a situation where I had to do something like this, and would not actually lead me into doing something like that. But let's see about this 20-something-year-old woman who commits it out of curiosity.
The seemingly innocent CCTV image of a woman with a piece of rolling luggage has shocked South Korean society to its core. That's because hidden inside was the mutilated body of a woman in her 20s who was brutally murdered by another young woman. The video is disturbing because the victim...
So there is a woman in a suitcase. There is a woman. I asked y'all that question, right? But in my mind, I always was in a situation where I had to do it, but never in my wildest imagination did I think to mutilate the body, put it in a suitcase, walk down the street. Not one.
And her alleged murderer were strangers to each other and had met on the app specializing in matching private tutors with students and parents.
So she pretended to be a private tutor. She was gonna tutor her.
In fact, the victim met her assailant when she came to her home pretending to be a high school student.
She was pretending to be a high school student.
3-year-old murderer Jung Yu-jung is suspected of killing the women with some sort of weapon in the victim's home in Kumjeonggu, Busan on May 26 at around 5:30 p.m. After the murder, part of the body was put in a suitcase and then abandoned in a forest outside Busan.
What would possess you to... I'm gonna even leave this part in here just so y'all know how I felt. I was finna say words, but they couldn't come out. I was about to just say words. Words didn't respond to how I felt.
The woman had taken a taxi at dawn the next day to where the body parts were abandoned, with the incident being discovered when the taxi driver, who found it strange to see her moving to the forest with a bag with what seemed to be blood stain marks, reported it to the police.
So shout out to the taxi driver for doing his job. Man, like, hey, listen, some people be like, oh, it's not none of my business. I don't care. I ain't getting involved. Got this man, because this crazy lady would have been free. By the way, telling me to, please, if I'm your Uber driver or taxi driver, see, this is what I don't want. You tell me to drive to a random forest and then you just come out with a bag and then you just walk into the forest and you try to come back. I'm like, nah, this ain't good.
여기서 이제 캐리어 열어보니까 캐리어 안에 뭐 빗자국도 있고 신분증도 있고 신분증에 보니까 또 우리 금정구 주민이었어요. 집에 가보니까 또 내 흔적이 있는 거예요. 그녀를 이제 거기서 지금 긴급 체포했고요.
After detaining Jung without a warrant, police found the victim's body at the killer's home and on the banks of the Nakdong River near Busan.
So she left part of the body in the house, in her house, and the part of it out, like the part she cut up. Listen, a lot of these stories we do, I just want to explain, is to show you that just not your little part of the world that you see is just not the only crazy part. Black women aren't the only crazy people. Let's go overseas to Korea. Cut your body up. Let's go overseas to Japan. Let's go overseas to Europe. We do international stories. We do local government stories. We do everything. Listen, evil and crazy doesn't have a pure and just natural face. It's everywhere. And people do sick things. And I want you to be aware of the sick things that people do. I do want to I want you to see how the world actually works in your little bubble. Because oftentimes we just see what people want us to see. The facade of the world. Like, oh, this country is so great. By the way, we're also going to show good things about these countries too. I want you to understand what's going on in the world. Because it's like we show Florida is crazy. We showed one today. We also showed Monday that Florida has good police officers. Like the police are not always bad. Everything isn't always black and white.
On the 1st of June, the Busan Metropolitan Police Agency held a Personal Information Disclosure Review Committee and decided to disclose Jung Yu-jung's name, age, and photo. A police official explained the seriousness and brutality of the crime is recognized and the need for public interest, such as the prevention effect of similar crimes, is great, so we are disclosing the identity. On 2nd of June, the Busan Metropolitan Police Agency and Kumjong Police Station transferred Jung Yu-jung to the prosecution on charges of murder. Jung Yu-jung, who left the police detention center wearing a hat and mask, was asked about the reason for the murder.
살인 충동을 혹시 언제부터 느끼신 걸까요?
피해자는 유가족께 할 말 없습니까?
피해자와 유가족분들에게 저는 진심으로 죄송합니다.
살해 후에 여러 차례 집을 오가셨는데 혹시 이유가 있었을까요?
People are paying for this with money. They're paying for this voluntarily, watching this with their own time.
Don't apologize to me after you did this and don't have a good reason. Let's see if there's a reason.
실종 사건으로 위장하려고 했습니까?
제정신이 아니었던 것 같습니다. 죄송합니다.
The suspect triggered social outrage after she reportedly confessed that she killed the victim with no personal connection, just out of her curiosity about what it would be like to kill someone.
Listen. It's just not funny. It's crazy. It's insane. It's asinine to murder someone simply because you were curious to how it would feel. It's asinine. I asked Ruby this on the Grape Hill podcast. I'm asking now. I kind of asked on Monday. Didn't quite get it all the way out. But is this lack of accountability and like obsession with social media and all this thing, is it leading to more sociopaths? Y'all can answer me. What do y'all think in the comments? I don't know. Y'all can go watch the Thursday show on June 29th. You can ask and see what Ruby responded to, but y'all let me know in the comments as well.
According to the police statement, Jung stated that she accidentally committed the crime after arguing with the victim right after being arrested for murder. But on May 31st, during the police investigation, she confessed to the crime. Furthermore, she said she was interested in criminal investigation programs that she watched on media and the internet. And
you women that watch true crime, I know y'all in the chat. Playing with y'all.
She felt the urge to kill, which led to the murder. As a result of the police investigation, it was found that Jung had already been collecting information on murder online 3 months before her purported crime. Experts analyzed that even if murder was the purpose, there would have been factors that could have triggered such an act.
우리가 동기가 없는 범죄 또는 뭐 묻지마 범죄라고 얘기를 하지만 사실 그건 외부로 드러나지 않았을 뿐 그 범죄를 저질렀던 사람의 여러 가지 주변 환경이라든지 인간관계라든지 또는 본인의 스트레스에 의한 내면적인 심리 관계 이런 것들을 살펴보면 사실은 다 범죄를 저지르는 원인과 동기가 있기 마련이거든요.
Reflecting the gravity of the crime, there is considerable public attention focused on the ongoing investigation and judgment of the court if they find Jung Yoo-jung guilty of committing such a heinous crime.
So they saying she was watching like true crime and she felt internal stress? Lock up. Lock anybody that agree with this. Listen, if you watch true crime stories, you get curious and then you have like an internal struggle. You probably been Ruby, you can explain how psychopathic behavior, sociopathic behavior work. I'm leaving that to Ruby. She the expert. That was the discussion for. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about this. Have y'all ever watched true crime and just went out and had a dream that you was doing what they were doing? Because I ain't never had that. I was always curious if I was in a bad situation, how I would like try to hide it when I was younger. But other than that, I have never just wanted to like, hey, let me see if I just find some random person to pretend to be a high school student and go and mutilate their corpse and put it in a bag and drop it off in the woods. I don't even know if I want to tell you to like and subscribe at this story, but please do. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Ruby.
Yes.
That is this is a very strange case, and what you think?
Well, okay, so explain a couple things. Okay, first off, so the number one thing I want to explain is that a psychopath, right, or a sociopath, those are basically interchangeable terms, right? But a psychopath and a murderer, these are not synonymous terms. Okay, a psychopath is not someone who kills a bunch of people. Okay, and a murderer who kills a bunch of people is not necessarily a psychopath, right? So while these things could overlap, they're not the same thing, okay? And it's important to know that because that's where people get things confused, right? Most psychopaths actually have never killed anyone. I mean, they could, and it wouldn't faze them at all because they don't have empathy, okay? They lack the ability to empathize with other humans. But just because you lack the ability to empathize with people doesn't mean you have a compulsion or a drive to kill people. Okay, most people who have a compulsion or a drive to kill someone, actually, they're not psychopaths at all. And weirdly, if you think about it, there's a lot of people who are convinced they're either going to kill someone or themselves to an obsessive level. It's an anxiety disorder. So you think about it, it's kind of like compulsive, obsessive compulsive disorder. You've probably heard of it before. You might even have experienced it. So think about if you are afraid of heights, for example, and then you're afraid that if you get too close to the edge of a building, they'll just like jump off or something. Or if you are afraid of like knives and then you're afraid you'll stab yourself if you get close to the knife or whatever. Like people have that. It's like this, it's an obsessive compulsive anxiety. It's really heightened anxiety and it's often not true. Okay. But what happens is that these people are like stuck obsessing constantly and they start building whole ideals, whole identities, everything over this idea of them, say, killing someone or whatever it is, right? Or killing themselves, throwing themselves off the building. And without intervention, without something stepping in and saying, no, these are normal thoughts and feelings and fears and da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, it's just, you're now at a high level of anxiety. This is kind of your coping mechanism and whatever. People might follow through with something because they literally, they're almost convinced it's going to fix it for them, right? And it's, of course, it's not going to fix anything. And so you could definitely get someone who's like that. That's actually happened, definitely recorded. You know, it's not the most popular thing in the world to happen to people, but it definitely does. normally if you're talking about a psychopath, they showed signs of this, right? They killed animals as a child. They did stuff like that. They did some murderous stuff. They set fires. They did other types of things before they went and hurt a person, right? And I guess we'll need more facts about this woman to know which kind of camp she's in. But, in either case, no, accountability culture or the lack thereof has nothing to do with it. In fact, if anything, you're talking about most cultures in Asia have a really high amount of pressure and accountability, built into them, into collectivist cultures, because you're responsible for everyone else's well-being as well as your own, always. And despite that, you'll see the same behavior. So these are not things that are due to, oh, well, you just don't have any accountability and social media culture. Like, no, social media culture is just making it so we can see things happen. That's all. Like, it's not making these things happen more frequently. It just, we're getting to observe them because there's a way for us to see people around the world doing these things.
Shout out to pre-recorded Zell for telling people to go listen to this. He know what he's doing. Shout out to pre-recorded. Shout out to Dun Teasy for the Train to Busan reference. He said it's on Amazon Prime. So shout out to Dun Teasy for that. So give us something to check out. Shout out to Miss Marjorie in the chat. I saw Jedi Mike. I saw a lot of people in the chat. I do appreciate y'all for coming through.
Well, I'm hoping that Shar is still here, even if all she is doing is listening from the clouds, man, because your story is up. Well, one of your stories, Shar sends a lot of y'all listen. Shar's our MVP, okay? She is our MVP. She's more of an MVP than we are, like, really. And I had to do at least one story from Shar today. This was my favorite one. I mean, this was fascinating to me, and I think it'll be fascinating to y'all too. So shout out to Shar. Hopefully she is hearing this so she'll catch it live. Yes. Oh, she is. Okay, good. Y'all, now this is interesting. This is an interesting one. I want to get y'all's take on it. I'm not sure where I stand with this one, but it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Okay, so before we go any further, we've got to give our shout out. Thank you so much to Shar Willie for this story. Y'all, I don't know. I think it's interesting is we've covered a lot of stories lately about theft, right? And it seems as though the theft issues are just getting wildly out of hand, wildly out of proportion, right? And so what's the real solution, especially when we know that loss prevention efforts are often expensive if you're trying to hire outside parties, and then when people try to do it themselves, they end up kind of, let's be real, they end up profiling the wrong demographic, and so they don't end up stopping the theft, right? And then, of course, the damage is passed on to us, the honest consumer, who ends up having the prices for everything, increase month on month, year on year, right? And it has a lot to do with trying to make up for all that shrinkage or the lost revenue. So what is the solution? Well, guys, we're about to watch a video that's going to give us one, and we are going to decide. We are going to decide if this is a good solution or not.
Can't see it, can't steal it. They are the first store using fog to deter crime. It's a story you'll see only on 2, a brand new way of fighting the mass retail thefts plaguing the city. Our Tara Molina has covered the theft issue for years and has a first-hand look at this new technology from Lincoln Park.
The newest solution to Chicago's retail theft problem comes in a box. It may not look like much, but it only takes seconds for this to make a difference.
Okay.
Hit by thieves and cleared out twice in a year. The owner of this Lincoln Park small business knows how bad this hurts.
My store was robbed almost 6 months ago, and I still don't have a settlement from my insurance company.
A problem plaguing business across Chicago for years.
Look at Michigan Avenue, we're down 30%. People are just moving out.
Problem? Meet solution.
Density USA's instant fog technology is pretty unique. When a criminal breaks in after hours, the alarm deploys, the fog deploys, and in seconds, your business is going to be protected.
Mike Eagle is with Density USA.
They literally can't see it to steal it.
The company behind the fog. Did you ever think that you'd be talking about fog to stop crime?
No, not even.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you one issue I see, and maybe that's just a placement of the machine. Maybe it's the fact that they might need more of the machines, but normally what you see people do, right? If you're thinking about the setup of a store, right? Normally you might have a couple sale items right at the very beginning to draw people's interest in, but the bulk of the very front of the store is going to be brand new items, right? All of your sale stuff that's really cheap is going to be at the back. So if your fog machine is at the back and it's going to protect the sale stuff first, that's still giving, the stealers ample opportunity to grab all of the most desirable stuff that's right at the front. Now, like I said, that might just be an issue with the way that they've placed the machine, or maybe you need multiple machines, or, whatever. I'm not sure, but that was just an issue I saw right there just watching. But let's keep watching.
Their non-toxic, no-grime fog tech is being used across the world, he says successfully, but just started rolling out here in the U.S.
So our line is warn, alert, repel, and the repel actually works.
We ran the numbers. Both theft and robbery are up this year in Chicago. Theft, the highest we've seen since 2019. Robbery, the highest since 2018. This tech aiming to prevent another hit like this here. The basic model runs around $7,000.
So it'll fill up about 1,000 square feet in roughly 15 seconds.
The first store in Chicago, in the state, to put the fog to the test. The owner didn't want herself or her store identified, but she did want to share this with other business owners, with you.
It just gives me peace of mind. I sleep better.
Yeah.
This technology has been in place here for about a month. They haven't had to use it yet, but this business owner is hoping it makes all the difference.
So now, will this be effective? I mean, probably to some extent, right? I do think that the placing of the machine is going to be important. I definitely think that the unfortunate thing is once we come up with some type of deterrent, the criminals come up with some type of remedy for that deterrent and so on, right? But in this case, it's fog. I'm just not sure how efficient this would be in a long-term kind of application. I mean, how long does that fog last once it's emitted, right? Does it have any type of effect on the clothing? I'm guessing not, hopefully, right? Does it leave any type of chemical behind? I mean, I think there's a lot of questions. But at the same time, given how many thefts we've seen and how many people like that poor prom dress shop owner, right? There's so many people we've seen who have lost so much. And if this would have even saved even 50% of their merchandise, right? I mean, I'm sure they would be through the roof elated. So I guess overall, I'm not against trying it out. I'm not against using it. I'm just not sure in the long term, especially if, it's not going to help us catch the thieves either, obviously, right? They're going to open, they're going to grab what they can. They're going to get out even faster. They're even less likely to be caught, I think, if they're there for less time. I don't know. On one side, I see a benefit. On the other side, I'm like, it kind of seems like the kind of Band-Aid that doesn't help much because it's not sticky enough to stay for long enough to protect the cut. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think, though. Right? I don't know. It's funny because my parents are bringing up the exact problems that I had also. So it tells you that I'm very related to them. But moving on from that point in general, I think it's so funny because it's true. Like, and that was what I was like, I mean, just even like trying to think about the idea of, well, will it stop them? Because like if you had the whole store filled with fog all night, right? I could see that being a deterrent. And the reason why is because when they walk by your store, they can't see what's in there. They don't know where anything is. They can't make a plan, whatever. They would have to look from earlier in the day, right? And then with no visual cues whatsoever, feel around. Like no one's going to take that risk if it was already full of fog before they looked in there. But if it takes even 15 seconds, 15 seconds is a long time. That is a long time for you to get to your priority stuff, get that in your hands, and then you have another, 2 minutes to slowly feel your way out? Like, how it's not like it makes the police come faster. So what is that, 15 minutes from the the silent alarm going off. Like, I don't know. To me, I'm just not seeing how this, it's just like, it sounds kind of cool. It seems like it works. It does what they say it's going to do. I just don't know if that is going to do what they say it's going to do. Do you know what I mean? What do you think, Sal?
Listen, as a person who have thieves in his family, they are not finna get... During the day, I'm telling you right now, during the day, they will scout out every location to instantly go and know instantly how to get out in the amount of time they need to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's better for them because they're not gonna see my face. Please put the fog on. I'm going straight through the other door. You better hope one of them street cameras catch them. Listen, I'm just saying from the hood and what they think and how they will try this in Chicago is my cousin got killed by my boss, so much older than me though, but he tried to rob one and then they put cement on his feet and threw him in the Lake Michigan.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
People do that for real? Was that like in like Chicago or New York or something? I feel like that's like
that was Chicago, and that was before I was born. Actually, my uncle told me this story. He said 1988 that he messed with the mob bosses, and then they put cement through his feet and threw him in the water. He couldn't get out.
Wow.
He tried to rob one.
That's crazy. That's like wild. Sorry to typecast your state there, Shar, but that's what I think of. I'm like, that doesn't happen in the South. That's like a Chicago, New York kind of thing to do. I don't know.
Hello, Vonda in the chat. That is 100% Chicago thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now the old retired ones are in they're in Arizona now.
That's smart. No water, right? So that's a safer place to steal, I guess, as far as that's concerned. So I mean, I don't know. And shout out to Vonda. Yeah, don't worry, Vonda. I had it all set up. I even have 2 Karens tonight, so that way, just in case you were even later, I was like, oh, we're gonna play your thing very, very, very last and buy you enough time. Hopefully, you'll get here in time to see your story in lights. So don't worry, you haven't missed it. And we still got some great stuff coming up, right? Yeah.
We do. We have a YouTube and a cult leader. So you got that coming up next. So shout out to YouTube for letting a pastor come in, and Ruben's gonna be like, this is 100% what she expected. so I'm looking to her reaction to see how I'm trying to see if I can find a preacher that can surprise Ruben. So we're trying every week.
Let's try it. I'm here. I'm game. I'm ready. Let's go.
But let's get started. And by the way, shout out to everybody talking about the fog machine at the concert. That is very cool at the concert. So let's get started on this pastor from the Philippines.
The nigga is me, I'm him, I'm not them. I'm him Jones, I'm him Duncan. I will beat a nigga ass and stomp him in my Timberlands.
Now, we have seen everything on the channel, from the scammers, of course, the pastors who do illegal things and shoots their wives in front of their kids and all kind of crazy things. And they all seem to have this meant of purpose, right? This purpose, this bigger than everyone else. The big YouTube video, the Rumble video, the Kick video of where the world is out to get me. They are not telling you the truth. I am the one truth. I am the person who will lead you to prosperity. And the media, evil matrix, is trying to control your mind and make sure you don't trust me. And you should trust me because I'm always right. They're trying to convict me because I speak the truth. And this is, of course, what Pastor ACQ says, who is a wanted man, by the way. Yes, he is the one he's on the most wanted by the FBI list. APOLLO CARREON QUIBOLOY, conspiracy to engage in trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion of children by force, fraud, and coercion, conspiracy, bulk cash smuggling. Yes, this man is a complete freak. And of course, people like this, they have certain aliases, right? The Top G, all of these titles, all these things. This man was actually known as, according to himself, the appointed son of God. By the way, there's YouTubers that we're going to talk about in a minute. That's not even allowed in the Philippines no more because this man has such a strong cult that they will probably try to ruin him. It's like crazy situation. APOLLO CARREON QUIBOLOY, the founder of the Philippines-based church, is wanted for his alleged participation in labor trafficking scheme that brought church members to the United States via fraudulent obtained visas and forced the members to solicit donations for a bogus charity, donations that were used to finance church operations and lavish lifestyle of its leaders. Members who proved successful at soliciting for the church allegedly were forced to enter into sham marriages and obtain fraudulent student visas to continue soliciting in the United States year-round. Furthermore, it is alleged that females were recruited to work as personal assistants or pastorals for QUIBOLOY, and that victims were prepared his meals, cleaned his residence, gave him massages, and were required to sleep with QUIBOLOY in what pastoral called night duties. You're the prophet. Kingdom. False prophet. But when you're the prophet of God, you get. I never read that in the Bible. I have never read it in the Bible in my life. I got my country hat on, believe in Jesus. I have never in one time in my Bible said, hey, listen, sleep with the preacher for nightly duties. I have never read nightly duties in the Bible. QUIBOLOY was indicted by a federal grand jury in the United States District Court in the Central District of California, Santa Ana, California, for conspiracy to engage in trafficking by force, fraud, everything else. Okay. Let's go read some more about it. YouTube shuts down channel of QUIBOLOY, who is wanted by the FBI. Of course, YouTube does what YouTube does. They don't care about a lot of different things. YouTube shuts down channel of QUIBOLOY, who is wanted by the FBI. Of course, YouTube does YouTube things. What I mean by YouTube thing, they're worried about certain words you use in your titles and your description to make sure you don't say things they don't like. But of course, they'll let this man preach until it comes from another YouTuber, which we're going to talk about in a minute, in which, oh, now he's a problem, right? Because we don't care about foreign things. We just care about what America says. YouTube has terminated the channel of mega church leader APOLLO QUIBOLOY, who is facing several charges in the United States. The online video sharing platform said Wednesday that the channel violated its guidelines. It was responding to a tweet of a user who flagged the Pastor APOLLO QUIBOLOY account continued to post video despite the televangelist standing arrest warrants with the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Hey, update here. Upon review, we've determined that the channel is in violation of community guidelines and has been terminated. By the way, the YouTuber I was talking about, Some Ordinary Gamer. Yo, someone at Team YouTube has to help the feds to shut down this account. Actual human trafficking priest is running a channel still reaching out to victims less than 12 hours ago. Dude has an FBI warrant out. Take has no power over me. Budahara, of course, Some Ordinary Gamer, shout out to him. QUIBOLOY has been on FBI's most wanted list since February 2022. Everybody said he's wanted for, yeah, we read that. However, he's been actively posting updates on social media accounts and the YouTube channel for his church, Kingdom of Jesus Christ. He also recently posted his interview with the former president, Rodrigo Duterte, on the YouTube page of his company media, SMNI Media. Yeah, this dude, he gets to do what he wants, right? He's a pastor. People gonna believe it. Why? Because he's probably gonna tweet and post because Elon Musk like, freedom! He's gonna tweet that his enemies is out to give him the matrix, is out to give him, the government wants to take him down because he is speaking the word of God. And people will, of course, follow him because y'all are marks. Not you listening with common sense and knowing I'm right, but you people who wants to follow anyone who says what you want to hear because you're marks. It's easy to get you. All I have to do is just agree with what you say. All I have to, for instance, how could I make money? Just tell you women are always wrong. Right? If I just said women are always wrong, I could probably get 100,000 followers, then just yell and scream and do weird things. And of course, it's a simple marketing technique to get whatever I want. Instead of doing these stories, I could just waste my time doing that, right? And just make some money, go sleep on a yacht, and not care that I'm probably harming a bunch of young people or abusing women or trafficking or doing whatever all these other people do. I'm not even saying Andrew Tate did the trafficking. It appears more and more like he did, but we'll see. He's a scammer. I don't know if he did trafficking, but this man is also a scammer, and I don't know what he did, but apparently he 100%, he probably money laundered. All these people money laundered. This man probably used whatever he could to do it. I'm pretty sure they got enough on that. I don't know about everything else, but he was doing his nightly duties as a man of God, and me talking down to him will be frowned upon. But yeah, I got Jesus on my side. I ain't really worried about nothing. Pray to God that one day somebody don't hurt me or something because I'm reporting all this crazy stuff. Listen, put this man in jail if he did it. If he didn't do it, prove it. Is innocent to proven guilty, I guess. But this story is insane. And why did YouTube leave him up? I have no clue why YouTube decided to leave him up. That's YouTube's problem. YouTube, you tell us why you left him up. You worried about shadow banning certain words and phrases, but you let this man on here who is actually using your platform to do harmful things. Whereas I just want to cover the news. Sorry, probably won't get shadow banned again for talking down on YouTube. Well, I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, Master YouTube. I'm sorry, Master YouTube. Please don't shadow ban me on this channel. Please don't. Oh, I do love YouTube, by the way. It allows me to do a lot of things, but it has issues. And hopefully we can work them out. And we can keep growing and loving what I do, because I do love this platform. I love y'all in the chat. Being emotional. Dun teaser probably tell me to get on. Start talking about, probably tell me to shut up. I don't know who else saying. Ruby probably vaping and ignoring me what I'm saying right now. It is what it is. I like y'all. Like and subscribe. Tell me how y'all feel about this pastor. Is he guilty? Is he innocent? How do y'all feel? Because feelings don't have. He allegedly did all this. I don't want to get sued. All right. Peace. Y'all let me know. Shout out to my good rant.
Well, I don't know. I mean, as far as the YouTube part of everything, here's the thing. It doesn't really matter whether or not you, I, or anyone thinks someone's guilty of something. Yeah. I don't think YouTube should be shutting down innocent people's channels. That is to say, not that I think the person's not guilty of the crime, but the point is that if there's no criminal charges against you at all, and your actual content doesn't violate community guidelines, then it's a very dangerous and slippery slope to cheer and encourage YouTube for doing this, okay? For bowing to cancel culture. I'm sorry, I'm really anti-cancel culture, right? I don't think Sneeko or the Tates or, all those people should have lost their channels because they didn't violate community guidelines. Well, Sneeko did. Sneeko could have lost his channel for what he actually did do on YouTube. Right? Forget what they believe or if you like their belief systems or not. It's not about whether or not you like their belief systems, right? It's about whether or not they violated community guidelines. It's not about whether or not you think that Tates or Quibolo or whatever committed these crimes outside of YouTube. It's about whether or not they committed the crimes on YouTube or violated community guidelines otherwise.
He did, though, so I'm just
where? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say that. Where did he violate the law?
If you on the FBI most wanted list, for some reason YouTube does have a little thing that you can go watch Mudahara video. I didn't put it in there, but he explained why that is against. That's why he actually said that like this man is violating your guidelines because he like money laundering through YouTube, and YouTube has like a little thing about that.
Yeah, but again, they're making an accusation. You are accusing him of money laundering through YouTube. That is not the same thing as he was convicted and found to be money laundering through YouTube. It is an accusation. It's an allegation, right? People can make allegations about anyone or anything. And you know what? They might even be right, but it doesn't matter because, again, it's a slippery slope. That means when someone doesn't like me, they can make whatever allegations they want that sort of kind of maybe might look like it matches up. And that's it. Our channel's gone like this. It's that simple. We can't encourage this. We can't. I'm sorry. But unless there's actual, again, so if he was, the only thing you could prove he was doing on YouTube would be if he was, say, using his YouTube channel to encourage crimes or to preach about his crimes or to show evidence of his crimes or to communicate in a criminal way to people in the chat or into, that would be a way where like, okay, you're using your YouTube channel to commit a crime. Right? Like the guy who, there's a guy who basically he decided he's going to live in a forest and like kind of build like a little, like a little home like in the forest though, just out of like stuff he found in the forest. Like it was kind of weird. But anyway, what he was doing was illegal, right? And like everyone let him ride and keep showing stuff and whatever because they didn't think it was illegal. But once the guy actually got in trouble and the FBI started looking for him and stuff, then TikTok canceled his account and YouTube, everyone canceled his account because you were doing something illegal. So even though it was harmless, it was also illegal, right? And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the Quibolo guy's cool and everything. I'm saying you charged him 2021, go run him through the court system. Because at the end of the day, it's not supposed to be on YouTube to bow to cancel culture. And so when cancel culture wants someone gone, then they're gone. And it's not okay to me that people lose their platform over cancel culture without any type of legal backing. I'm sorry, it's just not.
I was more mad about being shadow banned for stupid reasons of it. I'm like,
but this is no, but it's the same thing. See, that's what I'm saying though. It's the exact same thing, and that's what you're not realizing. You're encouraging people. You're encouraging YouTube to shadow ban you for the littlest word. That's what you're doing. You're encouraging this system where they can shadow ban you, silence you, or whatever. You can't even say the word shooting, in the first hour of your stream. You can't even curse in the first hour of your stream. It's all over all of this. It's the same thing because Mothers Against Drunk Driving or whatever came in and they said, how dare you YouTube support this? And they don't want to, it's ridiculous. Like it's not, there needs to be clear-cut definitions where it's like, hey, this isn't illegal, right? Or they haven't been convicted of a crime. So YouTube's not doing something wrong by allowing them to have their platform still, because until they've either been convicted of the crime or they violate TOS, they should be, like, I won't like them. I won't support their channel. I will tell other people don't support their channel, but they shouldn't be deplatformed just because people don't like them. Like, I have an issue with that. I really do. I have an issue with cancel culture and deplatforming. Yeah, I know.
We got an interesting conversation because I didn't even think about cancel culture. I just wanted to report on this dude and then go on like a 4-minute rant on how I hate. And then I did want to say massive YouTube.
Listen, it works always. It really does. It works always. Okay. And we don't realize it, that for every person we might want to silence that we think we're justified in silencing or that they're terrible people, guess what? There's people who look at your message and exactly what you think and exactly what you feel about the world. And even though you think you're just, they think that there's something wrong with your message. In fact, that's literally what our next story is about. So everybody, let's take a little look at a little Maga Pride as we close out Pride Month and, we ride into Canada Day and, all that good stuff. Let's take a look at Maga Pride. That's how I want to end this.
Dummy.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all. One of the only ways I used to consume news as a young person was in the way of This Hour Has 22 Minutes. And the reason why is because they had segments specifically that mocked Americans, right? And so they would just go and tell Americans wild things that couldn't even possibly be true. Like, oh, hey, and they would go to like Capitol Hill or whatever, right? Ask like real politicians and whatever, like, hey, so what do you think about Canada moving from the 18-hour clock to the 24-hour clock? And people really believe these things. Like, it was wild. It was the greatest thing ever. And so I feel like Canada Day is literally on Saturday. And I feel like it is a point of Canadian pride to mock Americans ever so lovingly, but still to mock Americans. So, I feel like that's what we need to do. And we need to do it in the style of news that got me into this in the first place. And since we're closing off Pride Month, why not talk to conservatives about their views on Pride? I mean, we did the whole woke fails discussion, right? Why not do this discussion? I think it's going to be fun. So shout out, thank you so much to Rosalind for this story. Okay, let's watch the video. I haven't seen all of it. I've only seen a little bit of it, and I was cracking up. Okay, let's watch. Wow. Okay, this is going to be a lot. I'm already seeing it's going to be a lot. Okay.
I was just talking about it today. I'm happy right now because I haven't seen near as many rainbow flags and rubbish as we seen last year.
They're making the kids wear these flags and these hats. Yes. Right? And it's like, don't make the kids wear these flags and these hats and make it their entire personality.
Absolutely.
They make it their whole...
Stop it. Stop. You know what? Listen. Y'all ain't ish. That's it. I can't. I don't even know how I'm going to get through this. This is hilarious. But the hypocrisy, it's the hypocrisy for me, right? Because while they're all ducked out in their mega hats and their t-shirts for Jesus and da-da-da, they're talking about the issue with just putting pride on a hat or whatever, right? And it's like, okay, so then you do think this is indoctrination. So you are intentionally trying to indoctrinate, say, your children and take away their own opportunity to just observe the world and you know, whatever. Like, no, you think that you're taking away their ability to do that by them wearing a hat or them wearing a t-shirt, which of course is not true, right? But it's just like the hypocrisy. And it's the fact that they cannot see that they are engaging in the exact same behavior, but it's okay when they do it. When they do it, it's cute. Okay, let's keep watching.
Identity. They've got the shirts, they've got the flags. I feel like it's being shoved down our throat. Yeah, they got the hats, they got the shirts. It's like it's their whole personality. You got these people with these flags, they're waving it in our faces.
Right. I don't care if you're gay.
They just don't wave this flag in my face. These flags everywhere that they wave around in everyone's face. It's become their entire personality.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have these people with their flags and their hats that they wave around in everyone's faces, and it's become their entire personality.
I live in a place where everybody is gay. I hope you could say that, but...
I don't know if you can say
what
that.
What can you do?
You can't say gay, it's Florida.
Oh. No, that's only at Disney.
Waving around their flags, they got the hats and all that, and it's like, dude, you know, like, why do you have to throw it in our face?
Yeah, why do we have a heterosexual month?
Right.
Well, because the other 11 months are heterosexual month. To be fair. And it's the same argument that we hear against Black History Month, right? Well, why don't we have a White History Month? Because the other 11 months are White History Month, right? Like, when whiteness is the default, you don't have to have a White History Month because every month is celebrating white history, right? So then having that one Black History Month is because the other 11 months are dedicated to white history by default, right? So it's the same thing. Why don't we have a heterosexual Pride Month? Because every other month is dedicated to that. I mean, even if you think about Mother's Day, Father's Day, all the other celebrations, they're all really dedicated to heterosexual pride. That's why you don't need a hetero Pride Month, because it already exists every month. Like, I don't understand why they can't. I'm good.
Why don't we
hetero month? And that's
You should have seen how it looked, me trying to just get on a flight to get down here with a MAGA hat on. They treated me like I was Osama bin Laden.
It's become harder to be open about your identity nowadays. Right?
Yeah, people just need to speak up. They need to say what they believe.
It's becoming kind of...
This guy is hilarious. Oh my God, I'm dead. Oh, I can't do this. I'm not going to make it through this video. That was amazing. Oh my gosh.
Dangerous to identify as a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
And it's almost dangerous to be open with your identity.
I was in January 6th. I saw the crap that went on there. They're embedded out here now. They want to demonize us. They want to silence us.
You shouldn't be ashamed of your identity.
I'm not. You should see my truck. I can't see out my back window because I got so many bumper stickers. Just on a Saturday or Sunday, I got nothing to do. I put my flags out and I ride through town to remind everybody.
Yeah.
We need our Constitution. We need our freedom. Before November 3rd, 2020, I didn't have...
Freedom, for the record, in his case, means suppressing everyone else's freedom unless their freedom looks like his freedom, which is not freedom. Just in case anyone was wondering, it's not actually what freedom means. And this is why this guy is doing this, right? It's like freedom of what? Religion, freedom of, you know, your own political, just that's why you have a democratic republic, but, you know, democracy and whatever, right? Freedom is supposed to be about being able to just be honest about who you are, what you believe, what you support, and it's okay. It's okay for us to disagree without disrespecting one another, and it's okay for us to disagree or to not, you know, understand whatever, but just to be like, hey, listen, you do you, I'm gonna do me, okay, I get it, right? Because you might not see things the way I see things, but I should have the right to practice things as I need to, and vice versa, right? Like you would think with all of the ways that they feel so suppressed, that it might elucidate the issue to them from the other side, when they're the majority, and, you know, you have these other demographics that are minority demographics that have no power, and yet they're the ones who feel suppressed over here. Okay.
Signs and flags. I didn't have a tattoo on my arm. I've never had a tattoo in my life. I felt the need to not be quiet anymore. And I don't care if my hat offends you, if it offends you, if this offends you, don't look at me.
I can't wear a MAGA hat in some places because, you know, some people don't like that identity. Can you imagine like going someplace and being attacked just for your identity?
That's crazy. Well, I wear my MAGA hat and I don't care. I invite people to challenge me.
It's become hard to be open with your identity.
This is my family. How much do I wear my patriotic shirts when I'm out?
Oh, Dad buys sleeves of the hats and gives them.
I mean, I buy hats by the dozen and hand them out. People say, "Oh, I like your hat." Don't move. I got one in my trunk for you.
Wow.
Yeah, but these, you know, these pride.
Right. But it's the pride people trying to indoctrinate others, right? Just by them simply wearing their merchandise with any type of rainbow on it or dyeing their hair rainbow or whatever, they are trying to indoctrinate people. But when Buddy buys a whole sleeve of the hats and someone just gives him a compliment, he hands out the hats. He hands out sleeves and sleeves of them everywhere he goes. That's not indoctrination at all. There is no, not even, it's like, it's worse than hypocrisy because they're accusing the other side of doing exactly what they're doing, and the other side is not doing it, right? And they're demonizing the other side for their own behavior. It's wild. This is wild. Come on, this is wild.
Flags, they're just everywhere. They gotta go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
My granddaughter can't enjoy a rainbow that God gave us. God gave us that rainbow. And my granddaughter can't enjoy that rainbow, and she loves it. Why? Because they've distorted it. They've made it something that rainbow was never about. That rainbow was about a promise from God.
We've got the shirt that says Taking Back the Rainbow because it was God's promise to the world was to never flood it again, not to be distorted like this.
Y'all make stuff really deep when it doesn't need to be. Okay? I mean, wow. Just wow. And like the dog whistling is so real and so deep. That's why all you hear is the same repetitive ideology. It's because they're not thinking for themselves, right? This is not like their personal interpretation of anything. It's not. This is what their people tell them they're supposed to think. This is what they believe that they need to believe. They want to be good Christians, if they want to be good WASPs, if they want to be good whatever, then this is what they've got to do. This is what they've got to think, and this is what they've got to believe, right? But they don't, and they're being heavily brainwashed by all the talking heads on the right, that often don't believe anything that they're saying, which makes it so much worse. Because it's not even like all of their leaders believe these things. They don't. They just say it because they know that their constituency does believe these things and that their constituency needs to basically be outrage farmed, right? Because when you outrage farm people, they're going to be way more willing to keep paying dollars towards you. That's all it is. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Comment down below. This was wild. Absolutely love it. God bless America. Happy Canada Day.
Dummy.
You know, and the sad thing is, right, Rosalind, you're bringing up an excellent point right there when you say, well, hey, maybe she's afraid to still love the rainbow, even though it could be associated with pride or with like anything else, right? Because then maybe people would look at her differently and then realize actually she's not as straight as she's pretending she is, right? I don't know, because I just never had these hangups. And, you know, a lot of research has proved that, like, for example, if we're talking about like homophobic people, like the people who are actually really violent and hateful and whatever, when they did studies, it actually proved that all of those violent, hateful people were the ones who reacted, okay, as in got turned on by same-sex corn, right? So that tells you what then, right? Yeah, there might be an issue of their identity and their fear of their identity coming in and playing a part. Because I don't understand, like, it's how much they've literally made being anti-pride and anti-trans and anti all these things their actual identity, right? The only other thing they believe in more than that is MAGA and Trump, right? But like that's all you hear them talk about. It's almost like, and then like they turn off their brains because like they can't hear their hypocrisy, that they're literally going, yeah, it's crazy, these people with their flags and their hats, oh, they're brainwashing all of our kids as they sit there with their hats and their flags, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Zal? What do you think?
Listen, let me bring a story for people that might not understand what she's saying. Let me bring it to you, our black audience. 2020, a bunch of things happened. George Floyd happened, right? There were burnings and everything. So a girl on Facebook lives up the road, right next to town, by the way, literally said they are burning down the city where we live. They clearly was not. Nobody was outside. Our people in our neighborhoods are lazy. It was one girl, shout out to my cousin, was at the stop sign raising a sign. Only thing that happened. But she's like, I'm looking outside. This is literally what she said. I am looking outside and I'm watching the city burn. So I'm like, I looked outside and there's no smoke. I'm like, wow. And she's actually like, it's just like indoctrined because Tucker Carlson said they burning cities and they're going to come and take your house. Black people are coming to take your homes. Come to find out that was written by a white supremacist, of course. But I don't know if y'all know that story. He had a white supremacist that was writing his news story, but of course he would say that. But those are some that maybe some of y'all can relate to if you don't relate. Like, oh, they just make up things. And because I promise you, I don't see all these flags and everybody be saying everywhere, all over the place. I'm pretty sure they are there, but I'm pretty sure
like the occasional one, but is it there in a way to like, it's like they're saying, because they're saying the same thing about pride flags as they are about Black Lives Matter flags and and it's not everywhere. Like they're acting like it's like somewhere everywhere and oh, they were trying to corrupt the children. It's always about the children, the poor innocent children. But the thing is that the only record we have of people corrupting children are them, because the things that they are reading to their children and explaining to their children are so disgusting and hateful and beyond their years. And it's almost like, wow. And again, that's why I'm like, regardless of how you feel about things, I wanted to point out the hypocrisy. Okay. And that's what I loved about. That's why I was laughing from day, because I'm like, do you not see that they're like, oh my God, the MAGA tards, they feel no ways about wearing the MAGA hats and the MAGA paraphernalia and wallpapering their windows to the point they can't see out of them in their cars, and flying the flags and all of their t-shirts and making sure that they hand out all the stickers and the hats and whatever, buying sleeves so they can give them away for free, right? But they don't see that as a problem, right? But you know, any other side, right? So Black Lives Matter, Pride, anyone doing even a quarter of that, right? Then it's, oh my God, it's everywhere. It's in our face everywhere. Oh my God, these stupid flags. Oh my God, these stupid hats. Why do they have to do that? Why can't they just sit there? And it's like, can you see yourselves? Like the hypocrisy is so real and so deep. I just can't stand the hypocrisy. I cannot stand the hypocrisy. It drives me out of my mind. It's insane. Never mind their Jesus freak stuff, because that's like a next level. That's not Christianity. Whatever they're doing is not Christianity. It's not in the Bible anywhere, but it's okay. It's their interpretation of God, and that's all that counts. Is their interpretation of everything.
Listen, people go off the way they think they should be. They're told how they should feel, and people like to be told how they feel. For instance, people like to call themselves alpha and all that. Why? Because somebody told them they were alpha. They aren't. You're literally following another human being as we speak, so you can't be alpha. But and your whole thought process is based off this person, which an alpha male would not. He'll just come up with his own ideas. But people just, in general, just follow the leader. And most people just follow whatever they're told, unfortunately. And if they feel threatened in any way, they will always resort to, oh, it's that person's fault. My life is like this. And it's always easy to blame, especially in a country like America, in which, let's be honest, we really don't have major issues. So we just like make up issues as we can, because no other country, like, you think people in Ukraine care about anything we can? No, we're trying to survive with Russia. They're going through real things. But we here, and if you know human nature, when people are comfortable, they seem to make up enemies out of nowhere. So. And then we got the next story, and of course, before Monday, I'm gonna go in a new story about the Supreme Court. But let's give Supreme Court credit today for something good, and then Monday we'll see how I feel about the story that came out later today. So let's go listen. Let's see what the Supreme Court actually did good during this round of sessions. Howdy. I know that y'all might not know about one of the biggest cases in history, one of the probably most important case in your life that most people don't know because, again, we are politically not well versed at all. What do I mean by that? U.S. Supreme Court tosses race-based dispute over Louisiana electoral map. Now, of course, Louisiana, the Secretary of State, did not present it as a race-based dispute. But what happened was, we're going to give you a quick overview before I tell you, is they wanted to redistrict where black people didn't have as much power as they did. Because, of course, if it stayed the way it is, Democrats would probably win a lot more in Louisiana, as well as other states. And this case would literally start that again. It would literally start redistricting, harming black people's vote and your vote. Your vote, as you say, don't matter, but in this case it will. That's why local elections and all that stuff I told you before are so important. So let's get into this case, and then I'm going to explain more as we go. The U.S. Supreme Court on Monday dismissed a Republican bid to defend a Louisiana electoral map that was challenged as discriminatory in a case that could lead to the creation of a second majority black congressional district in the state. The justices dismissed the appeal by Louisiana Secretary of State Kyle Ardern of a federal judge decision that the map delineating Louisiana's 6th U.S. House of Representatives district, drawn by the Republican-led state legislature, likely discriminated unlawfully based on race. The justices had taken up the case last year, but put it on hold awaiting their ruling on a similar case from Alabama, which they issued June 8th. U.S. Judge Shelley Dick had directed Louisiana's legislature to create 2 House districts rather than just one, where black voters would represent the majority of voters, a decision that could boost Democratic chances of regaining control of the House in next year's congressional election. See, a lot of you going to be like, oh, that's not a good thing. But I'm going to tell you why it's a good thing. Because, again, it keeps chaos from running. I'm going to tell you that after we get to it. In the brief order dismissing the case as improvidently granted, the justice said that their actions will allow the matter to proceed before the New Orleans-based 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for review in the ordinary course and in advance of the 2024 congressional elections in Louisiana. The justices also lifted the previous order that had blocked Dick's decision in favor of the plaintiff, allowing litigation to continue over a replacement map. We feel very confident about our likelihood of success, Al Bacana, an attorney for some of the plaintiffs, said in an interview. The Office of Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry, a Republican, vowed to press an appeal at the 5th Circuit. Our job is to defend what the legislature passed, and we trust the 5th Circuit will review the merits in accordance to the law, Friel said. A spokesperson for ordained office declined to comment. Electoral districts in the United States are withdrawn each decade to reflect population changes as measured by a national census. Last taken in 2020, in most states, such as redistricting is done by a party in power, which can lead to a map manipulation for partisan gain. Listen, everybody does this. Democrats have accused Republicans of exploiting state legislative majorities to draw electoral maps that dilute the clout of black and other minority voters. Republicans have said the consideration of race and drawing must be limited. Why should it even be considered at all? Ain't it done by the census? The Louisiana legislature passed the map in February 2022. Democratic Governor John Bel Edwards then vetoed it, criticizing the plan for failing to include a second black majority district. Considering the black voters comprise almost a third of the state's population, the legislature voted to overturn the veto. The map was challenged by black voters and civil rights groups in 2 lawsuits. The plaintiff said the Republican drawn unlawfully packed large number of black voters into a single district and dispersed the rest into 5 other in numbers too small to enable them to elect their preferred candidate. One of the lawsuits said the Republican drawing against black Louisianans. The plaintiff in court papers said that stark racially polarized voting almost universally leads to electoral defeat in black preferred candidates in Louisiana. Dick ruled that the way the map was drawn by Republicans likely violated the Voting Rights Act, which for decades had been used to counter racially biased actions in voting and drawing electoral districts. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled on June 8th in the Alabama case, with 2 conservative justices joining the 3 liberals in the majority. They affirmed a lower court decision that Republican-drawn maps of the state's 7-house district diminished the voting power of black Alabamians in violation of voting rights. Again, Alabama, another highly black state. Mississippi is also one. Louisiana is another. Now you ask me, this seemed more Democrat and Republican. No, I'm going to tell you why. Because this basically puts checks and balances on state government. Why? Because if state governments, the way they function, they are not as moral as, let's say, a Congress is. They are not obligated by the country. They are obligated by self-interest, which is also why you saw Arizona sell out their whole state and water supply, which could lead them to a drought, to Saudi Arabia, because they all self-interest based. It's also why you saw the governor of Mississippi, the former governor of Mississippi, be in cahoots with Brett Favre for his own private interest. No telling what else he did. That's why you see local officials always stealing money from other places. Again, that's why voting for a local district is important. But the reason this is also important is because this absolutely restricts the state's power in a lot of ways. Instead of just having courts and everything who don't have to that abide by the law. Yes, abide by the law. They could just draw whatever map they want and just disenfranchise black people. We gonna get black people are 33% of our state. Yet let's just have them have 1 of 6 districts. For y'all that don't know and can't count, 1 of 5 is only 20%. 1 of 6 is what, 16, 15%, 14, somewhere around that area. So 33% of the state only actively reacts to 15% of voting power. Doesn't make sense, right? This is what these things does. This is what this remapping always does. These things always lead to you not having power. And by you not voting, of course, that's why Malcolm X said throw y'all out. These kind of things can happen. And these are racially motivated by why? Because again, 33%, Mississippi about what, 39, 40%, Alabama what, about 30%. When those people have 5%, 10% of voting power because the state redistricts into ridiculous ways to just make sure your vote really don't count. And the only reason they can do that is because you don't vote anyway. Things like this happen. But shout out to the Supreme Court. Even most of the conservatives, 2 or 3, I think in this case it's 3, they dominated. And in the Alabama case, 2 went with the law because, of course, y'all know who didn't. The sellout didn't, of course. Clarence Thomas, but everybody else did. Well, and this is important, and I want to update you continuously on your voting rights. We got some more Supreme Court stuff coming up with student loans and all that. So stay on this channel, like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that. And remember, your vote does matter until you stop voting, and then it don't matter. That's why Dr. Umar was wrong in the other video. I'll link that at the end of this video so y'all know what to watch. I do appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe one more time. Back to the show. Listen. Again, for y'all that know, it will go to the 4th Court of Appeals in Louisiana. It will probably get shut down, but this is important. Like, listen, I explained to y'all before, voting in local elections can affect your life, and therefore people are actively in your state government trying to diminish your vote in the state government. I just want y'all to understand that. That's why saying taking 4 years off is a complete disadvantage to you, because your state and local government will affect you far more than what the federal government does. So this is they shot down this bill, which is 100% a good thing. We will talk about the other affirmative action next week, and we also have the student loan thing, so I'll go over that next week. I don't know if they'll get it done before Monday, but we'll see, and we'll talk about that. Ruby, your thoughts on Supreme Court actually actively giving a chance to black people to get the percentage of voting right? 33% of the state is black. They deserve at least that much, not 10.
Definitely. Listen, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you. No, I don't know. Voting in politics is not my thing. I mean, on one side, it's not my thing just because I've never voted or registered to vote at all in my own country. But for sure, the democratic process is certainly different in America versus in Canada, right?
Especially in the South.
Right, exactly. Right. So it's like, but I mean, just like in general, it's just, you know, I mean, you guys are like a democratic republic. We're not, right? So I mean, just even that, like, I just learned the other day about how voting really works in America. There's like this popular vote, but that doesn't really matter because then it's all the Congress people go and their vote's really the thing that matters. And, you know, I learned all of these things about like, just like, you know, voting in the president. I didn't know all of that. So I think for me, whoever is talking about it at the moment, it sounds like a good argument, but like that doesn't mean that I won't turn around and agree with someone else tomorrow because I don't understand firmly enough. I do believe that you should vote for local politics, and I'm sure that for me, the way I've always seen Canada has always generally trended the exact same direction my entire life, like inclusively. It just has. I guess if something were to derail that dramatically, I might become a little bit more invested in the concept of voting. But I also live in a country where, you know, we actually have equal rights. Whereas in America, the Equal Rights Amendment was never ratified and still no one seems to care. So I don't know. I do feel like in America, especially, voting is super important because you don't have rights. Like you don't actually have rights. Like someone could literally just take them away from you. Like you don't have rights because they're just privileges. So yeah.
Such an affirmative action, which we'll talk about Monday. Do I agree? Do I disagree with affirmative action? We'll see Monday. We got one last story, and I know y'all are ready for this.
It was not like a story. It's Karen's. Okay, it's Karen's. Y'all know we gonna do Karen's. And so we actually have 2 suggested Karens. That's right. We actually had Karens submitted. Okay, so I didn't just go into just my vault of Karens. Okay, I am tapping into y'all's vault of Karens. So we're gonna look at Vonda's Karen first. Now, Vonda's Karen is wild. I'm not saying like, oh, well, I hope Vonda doesn't actually own this woman. That would be a whole different conversation at that point. But okay. Let me explain briefly. It's going to explain it on the screen as well. But, you know, y'all will probably be trying to figure out what in the world is happening, okay? And I'm trying to figure it out too. So this woman, okay, she purchased 3 economy seats, okay? She wanted to have her own little cubicle like you can get in first class, I guess. But then she didn't just buy the first class ticket. I mean, how much more expensive are first class tickets than the economy ones? Because I mean, if you could afford to buy 3 economy ones, can't you afford to buy the first class one? Anyway, I digress. So she decided to do this, buy the 3 economy seats, okay? Side by side by side. And then this is what she did to upgrade herself to first class in the middle of economy. Let's take a look.
Do not touch it. Do not touch it. Sir, do not.
You have to take this off. You're not allowed to make little rooms for yourself on the plane.
Yes, I am. She is absolutely allowed because she said so. And what?
Excuse me.
Like, bro, okay. So y'all seen what she did? Okay. So this is saran wrap, right? Like cling wrap, like plastic wrap that you wrap bowls with before you put them into the fridge to preserve freshness, right? She bought, I'm going to guess, more than 1 roll, or maybe a super extra jumbo one, okay? And she decided that what she was going to do is wrap this saran wrap from the back of her 3 economy seats to the front. Now, initially, I thought I'm gonna assuage y'all's fears, okay? Because I thought she was wrapping this plastic wrap actually on like the back of other people's seats that they were leaning on. But no, where she bought her seats was in a place that like there's no seats directly in front of her. It's like kind of like a wall, so she can be wrapping it around without it actually touching someone else's seat. Right now, you can see her from asking people behind her, can you just not put your laptop there? You know, because I'm busy. Your laptop is interfering with my cling wrapping. Thank you. Right. So this is wild. Let's keep watching. Right. And she waited till the flight crew was seated. That's what I think is amazing.
Can you stop filming me?
No.
Stop filming me.
I'm not filming you. Go.
Excuse me.
What?
Yeah, they're gonna
exactly right. Bro, the entitlement is real. Like she really thought if she went, excuse me, that what, like the flight attendants are gonna side with you, lady? Not only because there's no expectation of privacy when you're in a public place, but look what you're doing, you psychopath. What I also think is weird though is the lady behind her. Maybe she's just getting a kick out of it, but she's being real helpful. Like she really is. Watch, you'll see. She's being really helpful, and I'm like, I would not be helping this woman with this cause. Like, why would you help her? But okay, let's see. Maybe she just wanted to see how it played out because that's wild. Now look at this. See, this is where I'm like, yo, this woman's clowning. There's no way she's serious. Watch this. Watch what she does. Watch what she does. I don't understand this now because I'm like, why would you do this? Watch. Watch what she does. This is not making any sense to me. I'm like, why would you do this? Exactly.
Must be going to Florida.
She must be going to Florida. Did y'all hear that? There you go, Zell. He said it must be going to Florida. It was shocking she got this far. But see, look what she's doing. Why would you do this? Like, what is with the face thing? Like, that is weird, right? Like, that's some weirdness. Like, what? As you can see, she's adding a roof. That's what it says. Like, how do you get this far? Look at this. Now she's got her feet up. Look. Yo, like, what are you doing for real? What are you doing? What is she doing? Someone help me, tell me what she's doing. Right, took a while, but the flight attendant finally came.
Where are your rules?
You're gonna see the rules when we land.
Okay, no, I want to see the rules. Don't touch this, please.
I don't know. I might be on Karen's side here because I believe her. I believe there's no rules. I believe no one ever wrote this specifically in the rule book. I believe it. Because, bro, no, like seriously, because rules are invented because some jackass did it first, right? And I can't imagine that any other jackass has ever done this before ever in life. So I believe it's not in the rules. I believe it. But why? Like, what did she think she was accomplishing? Like, she bought the 3 seats. Did you need the saran wrap? Like, what did you need the saran wrap for? Like, I don't know. Okay, let's finish this one up.
No. Help! Help!
Now she's being
No. Do not.
You're going to be detained.
You're touching me. He's touching me. He's touching me. Help me out.
No one has touched you. Not one finger.
Help!
Yeah, that's that thank you, Vonda, for that acid trip. I don't know why this happened, but it certainly did happen. There is no follow-up information yet. So far as we know, no charges have been pressed, but as far as like us having a real clear understanding on what it was she really trying to accomplish, I don't know. Listen, we'll talk about it in a second. Let's move on to our second Karen. Now, this Karen, okay, and you had to know it was coming. I told you guys it was Canada Day. So it would obviously need a Canadian Karen. Obviously, I would need a Canadian Karen. And so shout out and thank you very much to Rosalind for this one, right? Because I'm sure she wants to see a Canadian Karen as well for Canada Day. Come on now. This one like made it to a little more virally, shall we say? But you might have heard of her. You might not. Yeah, but if y'all thought that entitled, really jerky kind of Karen attitude, you know what I'm talking about. If you thought that was solely an American thing, sorry, it's not. Let's take a look at our Canadian Karen. Sorry, didn't have the sound on. And yes, guys, don't worry. There's definitely sound. And boy, is it loud. Okay. There we go.
I was born and raised here.
We were.
You're not dealing with one of your Syrian bitches right now.
A heated confrontation is about to erupt at this Denny's diner in Canada.
No, go
Okay,
ahead.
well,
What else
shut
you
your
want?
f***ing mouth then. Because you know what? You're dealing with a Canadian woman right now, and I will leap across this table and punch you right in your f***ing mouth.
For what? You're the one who.
Because you're a f***ing ignorant is what you are.
Right, like, so she's not being racist at all, right? By talking about Syrian women versus her, or I guess who they are and how they think about women based on them just solely being Syrian. No, there's nothing wrong with what she's saying. You better shut your mouth because you're talking to a Canadian who's born here. All right, let's keep watching.
Yeah, you're funny, eh?
A. Okay, see, there you go. Someone say A. A.
Go back to your country. We don't
Don't
need
say
you
like
here.
respect, just,
You know
just
what?
respect.
Excuse me?
Just respect. Don't say like that.
Relax.
We all
Excuse
Canadian.
me?
We all
Relax.
Canadian.
Excuse
Don't
me?
respect us
I
like
was
that.
born and raised here.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I got jokes. Shar put in an extra F there. I see. Feminine and effing friendly. Yeah. Well, she's definitely one of the Fs, and it's not fit, feminine, or friendly. So I don't know. She might be the other F though. I don't know. It's
Doesn't matter.
I am Canadian.
You relax. It doesn't matter. We're all
I am
Canadians.
No,
Canadian.
you're
Yeah.
not Canadian.
Yeah.
We're all
No,
the same.
you are not.
You're
Really?
a human being. I'm a human being.
You
There's
are not
nothing
Canadian.
special about you.
No, you are not Canadian.
It does not matter.
You
that
know
doesn't
what?
make me.
You know what? I
You
have a
don't- you
different
don't
opinion
speak.
than you.
I don't care.
And
I don't
I
give
don't
a
care.
what you think.
I
So
don't
you get
care
to
what
How
you
about
say.
that?
I don't
How
care
about
what
that?
you say.
Good for you.
Well, good for you too.
Do you pay taxes here, my friend?
Of course I pay
Do
taxes.
you pay taxes?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Full on taxes.
Yes. Everybody.
full on
pays
taxes.
Oh, everybody pays
Yes.
taxes, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
You do.
Yeah.
Of course I
You were
do. What do
born
you
and
think?
raised here?
I pay more
All
taxes
your
than you.
friends pay taxes.
You
here.
can tell me. what to
Excuse
do.
me?
Excuse
Okay, I don't know why everyone is under this delusion that like the immigrant class, right? That is like I'm going to talk about our country. That's in Canada just doesn't pay taxes. They just don't. There's no they don't have responsibilities. They don't have to pay tax. Right? They have a tax exempt card. They get to walk around and just not pay taxes, which is true actually of certain demographics, but not the immigrant class. So I don't know where they get like, because she's saying it with her whole chest. You know what I mean? Like she really believes herself right now. Come on, you pay taxes, like full on taxes though. So that means if I've never paid taxes, I'm not a Canadian. But like, what if I just set up my payments from my workplace in such a way that I never owed? No, that I don't get to claim that I pay taxes when I pay other types of taxes. Like for example, when you pay property tax or when you pay sales tax, right? HST, GST. Oh, yeah, we used to have PST, GST. Now we have HST. I mean, really? No, there's nothing counts. You really, you pay full on taxes. Okay, let's keep watching. My God, she's.
You know what? You're not dealing with one of your Syrian right now. You're dealing with a Canadian woman, and I'm not going to be talked down to by you.
turned around and talking to
I'm not going to be talked down to by you. So you laugh all you want. You know what? That's a prime example of why we don't want you here.
Okay.
Who's we?
Wow. There you go.
You know what?
You're denied. You're the man. Thank you. You're the man. She's the one who told me.
You know what? I didn't do anything. He's eyeing me up.
He never eyed you. You're the one who
No,
started.
turned around and he glared at me.
Why are you being so racist?
Bro, are you listening to her? Her justification for why she can go on bad like this, right? With all of this disrespect and all of this racism and whatever, right? Just pouring from every word, is because apparently he looked at her. I don't know what the woman's name is, the one who lied on Emmett Till, but this is what it feels like. Like, wait, what? So he just looked at you, and that's enough for you? Like, it's like, oh, no. He was glaring at me. He brought this on himself because his eyes looked around the restaurant. I happened to be sitting in front of him, so he looked at me. Like, that's really what happened. And then from there, oh, these filthy Syrians, look at the way that they look at it. Like, whoa. How dare you, first of all? Second of all, you don't know anything about their birth status, where they were born, right? Because just because you could be born in Canada and still speak another language because maybe your family wasn't, right? Like, that's wild.
Why are you being so
All of a
racist?
sudden I'm being racist.
Yes.
All of a sudden.
I'm Canadian, so I'm racist.
Okay, we're gonna call the
You know
cops
what?
right
You
now.
guys need to go back to where you
Okay,
came
we're gonna
from.
call the cops right now.
It's not
We're gonna see how you're gonna.
okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Excuse
your mouth. Sit
You know
down.
what, dude?
Sit down.
No, you know what?
Sit down.
You want to see a Canadian woman come
Yes.
and run your
Show me.
It's
Show
my
me.
f***ing home.
Show me.
I was born and raised here.
We were.
You
I
weren't.
respected you first, and I didn't talk with you.
No, excuse me?
Shut up.
You don't f***ing own
Don't
this country.
I'm
Neither do you.
This is my country.
No, it's not your country.
It is my country.
No, it's not your
I'm
country.
gonna call the cops.
The men were out for a boys' night when the
Like, bro, someone explain to me. Someone tell Karen, right? Because I was also born in this country. So, like, you don't own the country more than anybody who is a citizen of Canada. And one of the ways you can get citizenship is to be born here, sure. But guess what? There's other equally valid ways that the Canadian government and Canada's economy really, really wants. Like legal immigrants who come in, I mean, basically like brain drain, right? We take the best and the brightest from other countries, right? That come in to our country to help us build our economies and different things. Why are we acting like somehow or another, like, no, they weren't invited. They weren't invited. No one accepted them here. We gave you citizenship, but that doesn't count because this woman here says she and her man don't want you here. And by the way, I swear to God, I recognize her man. I'm not even kidding. I actually recognize that man. I actually recognize the woman also, but I can't put a name. I can't put a name on her, but I recognize the man.
seemingly obnoxious woman allegedly began turning around and staring at them. While there is no evidence of what set the woman off on her abhorrent rant, it's clear that there is no stopping her once she gets going.
Right?
Despite the men's calm demeanor, there is no holding back this woman as her husband finds out for himself. The man recording claimed that he ensured that the situation was filmed as he feared for his own safety after the woman's behavior became increasingly intolerable. What a way to spend a friendly meal. However, the Karen left a sour taste.
We're gonna send you the drunk thing tonight.
Yes.
If you can't drink, then drink a lot.
Yeah, we're gonna send you drunk. Relax. Nobody are drunk. Nobody are drunk. All sober.
You know what? Shut up. That's where half the problem comes from, right there.
No, you're the problem too.
No, you're the problem. And your women and your racist bullshit.
What?
Yeah, you guys are funny.
They're racist.
Yeah.
Perfect. Shut up. Speak English if you're going to speak.
Doesn't matter. I can speak my own
Speak English.
Free country.
Speak
Nobody
English.
mind your own
Canada.
business. Just mind your own
Speak
business.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah.
You don't raise your nationalism here. Speak English or don't speak.
You see, that's really what it is, right? Because Shara asked, like, will she have eyes in the back of her head? No. What happened is her fast, nosy little self wanted to be minding someone's business around her, and she couldn't because, oh no, she doesn't understand that language, which suggests to me that maybe she needs to pick up a book or Babbel or something so she can learn a second, third, fourth language, whatever it is. But what you don't get to do is pull this whole racist tirade and go on bad and tell people they don't get to be part of the country and so on and so forth because you can't understand the language that they speak. Because guess what? A lot of Canadians who are born and raised in Canada, who might even have several generations of family born and raised in Canada before them, guess what? They speak many languages, many. They have their ancestral language that they speak, plus countless others that they do, because you know what? It's useful to speak multiple languages. In fact, they teach multiple languages in high school. I mean, shoot, I was in French immersion. I'm bilingual fully. So wait, what? Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. Did you not want to make the effort in school and now you're feeling a little left out?
Shut up. What?
She's right.
What was that?
Facts.
What?
Here, I'll rewind it for you, Karen, so we can see what was that. Hold on.
We don't raise your nationalism here. Speak English or don't speak at all.
You make me embarrassed to be Canadian, bitch. That's what you said, right? No, he is right. He is right. Because literally Canada is multicultural, right? So unlike America, which is a melting pot, right? They want everyone to go to America and become American, right? Dismiss everything that you've ever been and come be us. That's what America is. But Canada is not that. Canada is multiculturalism. Come here and be you. Practice your stuff. Bring your stuff here. And we are going to all celebrate the fact that you're doing that while we do our own thing too. And we're all going to, you know, experience each other's cultures and nationalities and understandings and whatever. That's something that is literally an integral part of being Canadian. So she is literally actually an embarrassment to Canadians, not Syrian people keeping Syrian cultural practices. Let's keep going.
What? That's your Canadian.
Yes. Shut the
Him.
Search Daily Mail for more.
I was born and raised here.
We were.
You.
I've got a hold of it. Let me pull it out.
I don't even know what that was. See, that is why I don't ever normally play things from the internet, because then it will play something else afterwards and I don't know what it's going to play. And that's not what you think it is. I swear to God, it's not as bad as it sounded. It's coming out of the girl's ear. It is long and big and black though. I don't know. But anyway, point is, yeah, that was fun. That was some fun multiculturalism. Canadian pride we got going on over here.
Canadian pride. Let's go.
That's no, Uniqua. I'm sorry. We don't claim Drake. No, he's 50% Canadian and 50% American, and he's lived in the American side for way longer than he was ever in Canadian side. So y'all can have him. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's cool though.
I missed the first Karen. She was a nice Karen. She just wanted to wrap herself in plastic.
Bro, I don't know why they bothered her. I'm not even lying. I don't know why they bothered her. Like, she wasn't hurting anybody, right? Like,
the people's actually helping her, and then the dude across, like, I believe nobody complained. They just wanted to, like, I just want to videotape this because it's like an epic moment.
Yeah, it's odd as hell. Listen, if that woman wanted to, I'd understand. You know, she left some holes so she could breathe like a hamster in a cage, right? Like, it's cool, whatever. Like,
she's bubble girl. You know, bubble boy, bubble girl.
Yeah, she wanted to make herself a little fort so she could feel safe while flying or whatever. I don't know. She
put her feelings in the thigh roll in the ear.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Wildness. Just listen, Karen's. Y'all just be safe out there, okay? Y'all, we have Canada Day coming up on Saturday. You know, Independence Day is only a few days after that. You know, okay, y'all be safe out there because these wild Karens are clearly getting bored. Maybe it's the heat that's making them a little wilder, a little angrier than usual, and alcohol. Okay, so everyone take care of yourselves and be safe this weekend because yeah, Karens are on a rampage. Okay, Karens are on a rampage. Real talk.
Happy Canada Day. Hope y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Monday we'll give a happy 4th of July because it'll be 4th of July on Tuesday. So we're having a good time, barbecue, everything. We're gonna eat a bunch of bad food that give us bad heart condition because that's the American way, big melting pot. You know what I mean? So
pretty much, yeah.
The second Karen, she obviously been to America too. So I wanted to see what you got. I wanted to see the final results before the man
right. Like literally, and when the clip that Vonda sent was a little bit short. We didn't have as much information in the middle, so I was looking. I was really trying to find more, but I could not find more than this. And I'm like, guys, I promise though I will keep my eyes out, and if I find the then what video, I promise I will I will post it ASAP. Okay.
Yeah, I thought
we all want to know.
Ooh. Miss Rosa just run through the whole thing, just go and just take off. I want to see if she just ran through when it was over, like they said, get off the plane, and then she just ran through the whole thing.
How would she run though? She only got listen, there's not enough room in economy between them seats to run. You could barely walk, like hunched over and stuff. Like, nah, where's she running? She's stuck in those seats. I think what she would probably do is start trying to crawl underneath the seats though to get away.
Just going through the back seat and go through.
Yeah, just crawling. You know, the people behind her are already her friends, so they'll let her go, right? So she's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, she's good. Unico said, shout out to Joe in the chat. Fish fry and spaghetti Fridays. That is a strange combination. Hey,
it is Americans are really weird with their food combinations. I swear to God, like. I used to think of it as like white people food, I'm not gonna lie. And then I started making really good friends with a lot of Americans. And then I saw stuff like that. And they'll put like spaghetti. It's like spaghetti with like some type of red sauce, I guess, sort of, but blended in. And then they'll use it on the side of like a meal that to me doesn't go. But like the spaghetti's just there. And I'm like, and then when I saw one time, I was like, all right, fine. But I saw like 10 times people would be sharing like pictures of, ooh, look at this delicious meal my wife made. And I'd be like, right, but that's what I would say, oh, that looks so good. But it didn't, because I'm like, why is there spaghetti with like curry chicken and rice or whatever? Like, it was just weird. It's weird stuff. I don't know, man.
Joe, you got to show me the plate, Joe. I want to see a plate. So
that's all I'm saying. Listen, I'm West Indian. So therefore, fish fry goes with like provisions, right? Or Jamaicans like to call it food, right? So like, that would be like dumplings, yam, dasheen, green banana, stuff like that. That's what for me, like if you're gonna fry fish. Oh yeah, and of course the escovitch necessary. But yeah, that's what I think of. That's what I think of. But no hate, it's all love. We love y'all.
I do hope y'all have a great time. It was a great show. We got to see a Karen in bubble wrap.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we can ask for. Ever. Just see a Karen just wrap herself in saran wrap. That's all. That's what everybody just wants.
Definitely. Well, y'all, you know what? Thank you so much for coming out again. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there because Karens are, again, out of control. And we will see y'all on Monday.
He said I'm West Mississippian. Hey, listen, I eat gumbo, so that's where West Mississippians eat. So
okay.
Shout out to gumbo and all the Cajun food.
Hey, maybe we need to have a food war one day. One of our Mondays can be food wars. I don't know. Let's see. You got your stuff, because trust me, my food is immaculately magic. I'm just saying. And it all makes sense to everyone. Just saying.
All right, shout out to y'all. We out. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. We out. Peace.
Cheers, y'all.